What is ripping, everybody? The pimps, the players, the hustlers, the people that bust them, and everybody else in between. Let's do this thing. It's the Twisted Tuesday. It's a late night anger management class. I am Gabe Morency. We'll be with you for the next couple of hours here this evening. And we're ready to rock and roll after a pretty volatile and hostile Monday Night Meltdown last night. It was a hostile Monday Night Meltdown, but there will be no takeover. This is a dictatorship. Remember that. I got to be honest with you guys, though, this evening. I'm really not in the mood. All right. I shouldn't tell people that because as soon as you tell people, you don't want them to do something, they're going to do it. But I'm not in the mood. I'm not in the mood. So I will pull the trigger, and I'm guessing that the machine gun is going to go. We're going to pull the Ted Teven special tonight at some point in time throughout the program. But, I don't have the energy, to be calling people out and trollers and stuff like that. If you want to be an internet troller and, you want to be on your deathbed looking back on your life and you want to say to yourself, what did I do with my life? And the most productive thing you did is harass talk show hosts in the middle of the night on YouTube, then that's your choice. Then that's your choice. All right, so Donnie Rightside is going to step up and in a couple of moments. About 10:15 Eastern, Donnie Rightside. We're going to talk some NFL football. We'll talk Major League Baseball. As Major League Baseball has broken its own home run record. Most home runs in a season. A lot of motherfucking home runs this. There have been, so the record, 30 Major League Baseball teams had made collective history on Tuesday night as Alex Gordon of the Kansas City Royals hits the 5,694th home run of the season. A couple more on the board before the night is done. Now, we appreciate those of you joining us in the chat. The Esho George, what's up? Rocking in Ontario. Yeah, we get a lot of love in Ontario. I appreciate it. I appreciate you guys tuning in. I saw last night we had a lot of hits. A lot of hits on the show. People really enjoy watching us melt down during these football games. Got a lot of compliments about that. Oh, great show. What do you mean great show? Same thing like, the Sunday Night Betcast, me and Big Man on Campus. Great show, guys. Oh, we really didn't do anything. We sort of sat here and watched the football game. I'm still upset, though. And the more time passes, I'm still upset. From now on, forever, Eli Manning is known as the Capital City Goofball. He's the Capital City Goofball. He really is. If you think about it, too, he kind of looks like the San Diego Chicken. Like Eli Manning looks like a stupid mascot. Eli Manning looks like a stupid dude that would be like the dumbass guy in like a fucking fried chicken commercial. It's like, I can't believe I'm getting all this for $3.99. Eli Manning, Dave Malinsky said it last night. Eli Manning's really he's not a smart guy. That's what it comes down to. He's just not a smart guy. And, Peyton Manning, listen, Peyton Manning could be a fucking coach, all right? Peyton Manning could be an offensive coordinator. Like pretty much, every coach that Peyton Manning's ever been with said, yeah, he knows more about it than I do. Peyton Manning goes on the right, he sees everything. He knows everything. He's like, you should call this now. Like you see even Tony Romo is a fucking smart dude. His voice isn't forceful enough. It doesn't cut through the crowd noise. That's the only problem I have with Romo. I have a hard time hearing him. But, like you see Romo's unbelievable at this stuff. Romo can see stuff, and Romo's doing a great job at that. And it's funny, though, because a lot of guys can do what Romo's doing, but they've told them not to do that. I don't know why they're letting Romo get away with this. because they're making it really easy for Romo. They're just telling him, tell us what you see. So, but Romo, Romo can see, all right, the linebacker's fucking on the left and the safety's pinching in, and Romo's fucking good at it. Romo will tell you, all right, they're blitzing, Jim. They're blitzing. You're going to see he's going to dump off a bubble screen here. And it's uncanny. Boom, boom. A couple of times it's obvious, all right, they're going to run the ball here, but it's crazy. A couple of times I've heard Romo go, he's going to call an audible here, and he's going to throw it to the left side of the field. If you notice, Romo's big on the left, right. He's like, they were going to run to the right, but I guarantee they just moved to the left. And Jim Nantz said to him, how do you how do you know what the other team's going to do all the time? And he says, well, I was in the NFL for 13 years, Jim. Right? So, Romo said, I was in the NFL for 13 years. There's nothing I didn't see over the years. Eli Manning will not be able to do that. I guarantee you, Eli Manning will not be an analyst after. You know what I mean? They'll say, oh, so what do you see here, Eli? What? Huh? I don't know. It looks like a tough defense. Eli couldn't break shit down. So Bob McAdoo, the head coach of the New York Giants, not in a very good mood after last night's football game because he knows he's about to get fired. And, he's not going to get fired right now. Dave Morency brought it up last night. It'll probably end up being Steve Spagnuolo's team in the future. And if you want to get fired, a good way to get fired is to throw Eli Manning under the bus. But Dave Morency's never wrong, okay? And Morency's right about something. Eli Manning isn't going to get any better. Eli Manning has played the best football of his career. There's no fucking third Super Bowl ring coming. I don't know why the football gods put you in that position, Eli. They say Trent Dilfer's the worst Super Bowl winning quarterback ever. Eli Manning's definitely the worst two-time fucking winning quarterback ever. I don't know. He's a fucking goofball. That's the best word for him. That's what I'm saying, Kevin White. You think Eli Manning's breaking shit down and, oh, yeah, this is a zone X read package blitz. He doesn't know shit, fuck. Eli Manning's been in the league for fucking 10 years. He still has that look of surprise on his face. I've never seen someone so fucking surprised, fuck, in his life. It's like me. If I walked into the TV studio every day. Wow, there's cameras. I never thought I was going to say this, but it's to the fucking point where I dislike Eli Manning more than Andy Dalton, more than Bob Wickman. He's a fucking idiot, Eli Manning. You don't want to judge a book by its cover, but he just looks stupid. He just looks stupid. I'm amazed, that Eli Manning hasn't gotten killed in New York, fuck. He seems like the type of fucking goofball that if somebody came up to him on the street, he's on 34th Street, somebody comes up to Eli Manning and says, let me see your wallet. I'm the wallet inspector. Wallet inspector. He'd give it to him. Wait a minute. That's not the wallet inspector. If there's one, where does Eli Manning live? Seriously. If I'm the New York Giants, I would fucking have a team of security watching Eli 24/7. I'd just say, listen, he's the stupidest fucking kid that we've ever had on our fucking team. We need you to watch him because this fucking kid's going to end up getting killed one day in this city somehow. It's the Morency media takeover, Babano, Ian Cameron. See, a lot of people have TV shows and shit. You know, but you're a fucking nobody unless you're on TV and on the radio at the same time. Fuck. I think I saved the picture. Somebody sent it to me. Somebody sent me a picture on a wall of TVs. I was on 3 networks at the same time. I got to find that picture. I was on 3 networks at the same time. I was on the Fantasy Sports Network, I was on TSN, and I was on the Fight Network. And somebody sent me a thing on the wall, and it had a bunch of TVs up, and they said, holy fuck, dude, you have shows on 3 channels right now, simultaneously. And I'm like, doesn't everybody? Doesn't everybody? I used to not like being on at the same time that I'm on. Okay? I'm on TV right now. I can watch myself on TV right now. I hate watching myself on TV. I really am Krusty the Clown. You know, like there's an episode of The Simpsons and Krusty the Clown's watching TV and he's flicking through. He's like, seen it. No, boring, seen it, me. He keeps going. He's like, me, next. That happens to me. I'll be flicking around the TV at night. It'll be 3 a.m. and shit. I get angry, fuck. I'm flicking around and there's nothing on TV and I see myself and I'm like, I don't want myself, fuck. You know, I'm not paying for cable to watch my fucking self. I can stand in front of a fucking mirror and watch myself. Fucking angers me when I see myself on TV. I'm like, fuck, I'm not paying for this shit. That's great advertising, fuck. The host of the show gets angry when I'm not paying for that shit. I'm flicking around. And sometimes when I used to be on the Fight Network too, I'd be on 2 networks at once. I'm like, fuck, man. I'm like, give me something besides me. Yeah, I know, big man. Listen, I'm actually eating fruit. I'm eating a little bit healthier, but I got a problem, big man. I just got off the air, man. I was on the air till 9. I was running around. I got back here. It's catching up to me a little bit. I can't tell if I have something physically wrong with me or it's just because I'm fucking working a million hours a day. David H. says the Brewers win. Cash it. We're on the Brew Crew. We're on the Brew Crew. Get some of that Eli Manning fuckface money back. Oh, yeah. So Bob McAdoo. Bob McAdoo throws Eli Manning under the bus. So we all were watching last night. We saw what happened. New York Giants, 1st and goal on the 2-yard line, and only fuckstick Manning could fuck that up somehow. So, of course, they got a false start. They go backwards. They get it back to the 2. They end up going for it on 4th and 2, except then they got another penalty. The New York Giants got 2 fucking penalties on a series of plays at the 2-yard line. Think about that. They got to the 2. They got a false start. They went back. They got back to the 2. And then they got to delay a game. Like, you're fucking useless. You're fucking useless. Like, you see behind me here? I'm amazed we don't see, like, New York Giant fans on the bridge jumping into the fucking Hudson here. I'm going to put, like, Giants and Jet fans on the bridge soon. Seriously. I'm going to get little cutout guys. Hey, there's Fireman Ed, fuck. Hey, don't jump, Ed. Don't jump. Don't worry, man. Don't worry, Ed. Hey, there's Fireman Ed. He's about to jump because he's a Jet fan. Don't worry, Ed. You guys aren't the biggest joke in the city of New York. The New York fucking Giants are. I swear, I don't care, man. The Jets lost by 25. At least the Jets try, okay? At least the fucking Jets try. I'm not saying the Giants don't, I see on the news here, guy named Simon Giannini was fatally shot in a restaurant. So the guy's sitting in a fucking steakhouse on Sunday afternoon in broad daylight. Somebody walks into the steakhouse, shoots the dude. And I love the news. Police think it was a targeted hit. Yeah, no shit. Yeah, you think? Once again, we don't want to stereotype, but is anybody Italian that's not up to anything shady? Like, you know, major real estate tycoon in Toronto, Giannini gets shot, fuck. Like I said, every fucking corrupt fucking referee, Morelli, Statutori, fucking, who's a Corrente. Fucking, I'm amazed Adelaide Bird's not Italian. I like that. Police suspect it was a target hit. Yeah, no shit. I don't need to be the chief of police to suspect that it was a targeted hit. Thanks. Police suspect. Yeah. All right, Donnie Rightside going to join us in a minute. So as I was saying, Bob McAdoo after the game last night, 4th and 2, they asked Bob McAdoo, why didn't you call a timeout? Why didn't you call a timeout and avoid the delay of game penalty? And he said, because we have a veteran quarterback that's been around a long time, and I expected that he'd be able to snap the ball before the clock hit 0. And they said, what happened? He said, sloppy quarterback play. Like McAdoo, as the kids say, threw some fucking shade. And as I say, because I ain't no kid, man, he didn't throw him under the bus. He went with the bus, backed it up, beat, backed it up, ran over a couple of times, and then went back for more. And, you know, we pick on the Capital City goofball and Eli Manning, but is there anyone else that sticks out of New York like fucking McAdoo? And our boy Druzilla's in New York. Like, seriously. Like, is there a guy that is like so un-New York-like than fucking McAdoo? He looks like guy sweats more than I do. He's just up there. He looks angry and nervous. And he's just got that awkward, he's standing at the podium and he's got like a suspicious look on his face. He's looking around the room and you got all these fuck sticks from the Daily News and the Post and everything, and they're all over him. And yeah, McAdoo is just like, he's so like, I don't know, man, just, he doesn't seem like a very good people person. He shouldn't be a head coach. He's, you know, like Morency says, guy's looking at his Denny's menu all night. All right, Donnie Rightside ready to step up, and then
the earpiece goes in over there. I like it.
I hate to throw Morency under the bus, but yeah, Donnie Rightside. I did the same thing last night as I did tonight. I sent everyone the link, and Morency asked, like, oh, it would have been nice if you would have sent me a link. It's like, I sent you the link, Dave. I don't think Dave knows what a direct message on Twitter is, to be honest with you. Donnie Rightside, what's up, Donnie?
Hey, man, feeling good. Hey, last night watching the game. Now, Gabe, some people were telling me last night, it was past my bedtime, but I think you were pretty furious about maybe the score ending up at, what was it, 34 points total?
Dude, I needed 36, so I needed another field goal, Donnie. It was fucking brutal, dude. And, you know, I was talking about, so that gaff when they're on 4th and 2 from the goal line. Think about that, Donnie. So they the first time off the all game, they move the ball down the field, they get to the 2-yard line. What do they do on first down? False start. So they went back, right? So they go back to the 7-yard line. They end up getting it back to the 2-yard line.
Mm-hmm.
Then, of course, they have the delay of game penalty. How many other motherfucking times last night, guys, too, did Eli Manning throw the ball 3 yards short of the sticks? It was 4th and 3 on one play, and they threw it 2 yards. It's 4th and 3.
And also, you know what's interesting on that
he fucking threw the football.
On that delay of game penalty, it almost seemed to me that, to me, you have to get points. It's 17-7. You got to make it at least a one-score game regardless of what happens, because if you didn't get any points there, game, you know, gets a lot harder to climb uphill. It almost looked to me like Eli Manning took his time on purpose to either force a timeout or to actually get the delay of game penalty. It's amazing because you're rushing. You don't even have to rush up to the line, Gabe. How many times do we see like a 55-yard play? You know, fat lineman running down the field. Everybody, you know, the wide receivers dancing in front of the crowd because he had a big play. You got to burn a timeout because you can't get down the field. You're on the 2-yard line. What are you guys doing out there?
Yeah, it was just, and, you know, and McAdoo, So what's your take on McAdoo throwing Eli Manning under the bus like that? And as I stated, McAdoo's the honeymoon is already ending here. They went 11-5. It was a miracle. The defense carried them, but he's got no people skills. It's pretty clear. I can't imagine he's much better in the room with the players than he is with the media. And then he basically, this early in the season, throws Eli Manning under the bus. And Eli Manning's a goofball, but Eli Manning has more capital in that city than McAdoo does. Eli's got 2 Super Bowl rings. McAdoo's a nobody there. It's almost as if McAdoo's, I don't know. Was it a heat of a moment thing? But it's unheard of for a coach to do that.
Yeah, that's
Michel Therrien. You're supposed, Donnie, you know what you're supposed to say to the coach there? We as a team have to do a better job in those situations. Next question.
Yeah, we've heard about that for 15 years in Philadelphia with that. I mean, do a better job.
You bite the bullet. You bite the bullet and you go, we have to do a better job. You say that we have to do a better job getting the play. And you take the fall. He went right to sloppy quarterback play and then doubled down and said, well, if the guy's been around forever, I figured he'd know how to snap the damn ball before it got to 0. Pretty ugly stuff right there. I'm sure Eli really, Eli's such a fucking idiot. I don't think he cares. But I'm sure Archie's fucking, oh, yeah, you can't do that. And but it's pretty big for McAdoo to do that.
Yeah, no, I mean, McAdoo, it's kind of interesting how he even got the job because obviously working under Tom Coughlin, they didn't give Tom Coughlin a damn thing to work with on that defense. They fire Tom Coughlin. They promote his offensive coordinator. Then they spend a couple $100 million on the defense to fix it. And Coughlin's head was, about to pop off going out the room. He was so mad, Gabe, that he interviewed to take the Eagles job almost just out of spite, just to try to get back and stick it to the Giants there. But I agree. I mean, if you're going to fire the head coach, you're not going to promote the offensive coordinator. And it's a shame. I mean, you say what you want about Coughlin. He was getting old, long in the tooth. Maybe it was his time to go, but he didn't get a fair shake going out the door, getting no defensive help whatsoever. And again, back to your Eli Manning point, seen it coming for a couple years. I don't even want to say, I can't use the term overrated because he does have a ring, but just looking at Eli Manning's play, the one thing that saved Eli Manning's career was a 6'9" giraffe wide receiver, Plaxico Burress, that when the rush came in, all he did was close his eyes, turn his shoulder, and throw the ball straight into the direction of Plaxico Burress. It was either going to be a catch or a pass interference. Now he lucks into Odell Beckham, who extended his career. But if you take away like a supernova at wide receiver on Eli Manning, he's an awful quarterback.
What about the other Super Bowl, which they won because the fucking David Tyree caught the ball on his fucking head?
Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah. I mean, the one thing get basically a 500 football team caught lightning in a bottle, beat the Cowboys down in Dallas, a freezing cold night, a bounce could have went either way. They beat Green Bay, and then they get to the Super Bowl.
If you're a fan, you take that. If you're an Eagles fan, from a Bills fan, if a quarterback gives us 2 Super Bowls in a 10-year span, 12-year career, 15-year career, and there's a lot of other crap sprinkled in between, you're going to remember the Super Bowls. And, he has that currency, and I think Eli's still got a couple of years left,
and he's not a bad guy either, Gabe. He's not a guy that you just say, man, this guy's just a straight ass. You know what I mean? I mean, he's a good guy off the field, does his charity work, and he's got 2 Super Bowls. So he has cachet in New York. And again, it's not like he's racing against the New York Jets. I mean, the Jets are awful. So Eli's always going to have a place there.
Eli's such a good guy. He was selling fraudulent memorabilia, signing fake helmets. And he got the benefit of the doubt of that. Oh, Eli would never do that. Yeah, just like Peyton would never bust his balls out on a fucking Tennessee volunteer trainer, right?
Yeah, teabag down there.
I don't know. I'm telling you what, if fucking Michael Vick, all right, or Colin Kaepernick got caught with selling fake fucking helmets, trust me, I don't think the media would have taken his word for it like they did with Eli. I just think Eli's too stupid.
No, that Eli Manning face, you can play that whole oh shucks, I didn't even know what I was doing. He plays that perfectly like a hillbilly.
He really does. So, all right, so the New York Giants, they're getting 6 points against the Eagles. Pretty big number here. This number surprised me a little bit, and it's been bad up. Total's 43.5. The first thing that obviously comes to mind here is, the Eagles have 8 sacks through 2 games, and they could have more. They've done a great job of harassing quarterbacks, QB pressures, and getting to the quarterback as well. I'm not so sure that the Giants can correct all of their problems because it's not like the Giants, it's an execution thing. I think it's almost a player personnel thing. It's their offensive line is just bad, and they're not the only ones in the league that have a bad offensive line, but they don't have a ground game. Odell Beckham's nowhere near to 100%. He's been rushed back. We saw, he had no explosiveness. He wasn't going deep down the field at all. It seems like a bad matchup for the Giants, but the point spread feels a little bit high to me still.
No, it does. The soft opening before the game on Monday night, only a few books offshore had it, was 3.5, which I thought was about right, maybe getting up to 4. But obviously the overreaction when you see it on Sunday night. And again, it doesn't match up well. The Giants are dead in the water. They're not making the playoffs. 0-2 with 2 losses already in the NFC. It's not going to happen. The worst case scenario for the Giants is now they have to go into Philadelphia, which they never play well in Philadelphia. The front seven's going to get after it. Sometimes when you look overall, Gabe, at situations in the NFL of what you like and what you dislike, 0-2, maybe they can win it 0-3 or 0-4, come back. But the problem, Gabe, it's not going to get better. It's not like you said, we lost 30-29, hard-fought game. We're healthy. Second game, we lost by a tough field goal margin at New England on the road. We're just getting a little bit of tough breaks. Let's hold the fort down. It's only going to get worse for the offensive line because we know going through a football season, Gabe, they're going to get injured. They're already a terrible offensive line. Just wait till the team starts to get injured up front. Like I know Hart left after the second or third play of the game. What happens if another guy goes down? What happens if Justin Pugh goes down? And then Eli is going to be, it's over. It's not going to get better. It's not something you're just catching some bad breaks. Your offensive line is bad. You can't win in the NFL. It's almost impossible.
The Philadelphia Eagles, it's amazing, Donnie. You know this well. I don't have to tell you being an Eagle fan. But the NFC East seems to me to be the division in which it's the most, history repeats itself the most, in which teams just dominate. It's musical chairs and the divisional matchups in which, one team just always beats the other team. And looking at the past results here, the Philadelphia Eagles have beaten the New York Giants straight up for the last 5 times that they played.
Yeah, no, it's ownage. I mean, it's been almost since I went to school in North Jersey. Obviously, heavy Giants territory.
It's actually 6. My bad, Donnie. 5 of 6. My bad. 5 of 6 last time. 5 of the last 6 times.
It's probably even worse in Philadelphia itself. I mean, there was a couple shellacking beatings, shutouts, 20-point victories all thrown in there over the years at Lincoln Financial Field. But, it dates back that once Donovan McNabb and Andy Reid took the helm, in that 99 season, start pushing forward. That early 2000s was really a shift. And actually about the time, that Kurt Warner was starting at quarterback, Eli Manning took over because Kerry Collins had the Eagles' number. Once it shifted over, the Eagles have absolutely dominated the Giants year after year. And I'm talking, Gabe, Vince Young teams going up to the Meadowlands and beating that football team. It's just something the Eagles have over the Giants. I'm looking at
the New York Giants. The last time the Giants won outright in Philadelphia was 2013. So we're going back a ways. They have played a lot of close games, though. 24-19 last year and 28-23. They split the season series. The year before that, Philadelphia won 35-30, and they won 27-7, 34-26. It's tough. I think Philadelphia do win this football game, but I don't want to be laying 6 points here. What about the total? Is it too low at 43.5?
I think the total is a little bit low there because, again, if Odell Beckham is maybe a step healthier, let's not forget, I mean, the Eagles coming into the season, Gabe, the problem we were all scared of is the secondary itself, sort of righted itself. You have a front seven. They're playing well. Schwartz has them going. But let's not forget you're down Darby, and now you're also down Rodney McLeod and Jalen Watkins. That's 3 key contributors to your secondary that will be down for this game. There's going to be an impact in there because when young kids come out and play, young kids tend to make mistakes and get exposed. The one way you help that out is by getting a good pass rush. And again, Eli's going to be under siege this entire football game. But if there's any sliver out there, 6 points is a lot because, Gabe, it wasn't the Giants' defense fault last night. I mean, you had a terrible offensive game plan. The Giants defense was out there a long time. Let's not forget a punt return added 7 points on there as well. The Eagles just aren't going to run roughshod over the Giants defense out there.
I know. And at some point, and I don't, Malinsky talked about this last night about teams, maybe these teams just aren't very good and they're not suddenly going to become good. But, the scoring has to go up a bit for some of these teams, specifically the Giants. In 13 teams this weekend in the NFL, guys, scored a touchdown or less. That's unbelievable, Donnie. 13 teams were that offensively inept. 13, nearly half the league, scored a touchdown or less this past weekend. Yeah, no, it's opening up the season. And I know, Gabe, it gets back to, not to say they don't practice as much in OTAs, but going through, we all grew up with the same football. Doubles in the summer. They're having 6 weeks of practice. They're playing all 4 preseason games
to get ready for the season. Now it's almost like a country club type atmosphere, which is what the players wanted. They didn't want all that stress. We work too hard. We don't want to be hitting every day. They have everything knocked back, even during the season, Gabe. I think you're only at like 10 or 12 actual padded practices over the 17 weeks of the season. So football is going to be sloppy as we going forward. But again, these first 2 weeks, Gabe, similar to preseason games. If you haven't played an entire game, or much less played, 10 snaps out of a possible 70, it's going to take you a while to get your legs underneath you.
Yeah, but it's ridiculous because they went through the charade of the preseason, and this is the 6th game for football teams right now. There should be no excuses anymore as far as, we're not ready to go yet. All right, so let's blast through the games here, Donnie. We don't have to, break them down deeply or anything like that, but we'll just sort of kick the tires. Thursday night football, God, another train wreck. Rams at 49ers. It's amazing to me what catches my eye about this. It's amazing to me that the LA freaking Rams, man, have been favored in all 3 football games they played in this year. Can you imagine if somebody would have told you in July, yeah, man, the Rams going to be favored in the first 3 games of the year? Well, they are. I don't think they should be. I don't think they should be. To me, San Francisco should be the 2-point home field favorite. I just, the LA Rams, yeah, Jared Goff's looked a little bit better. I can't dispute that. But the Rams have played at home against the Colts and the Redskins. They've been in a perfect world scenario, even though it's an in-state game here. The 49ers fans are going to be fired up for this. It's a game that they think they can win. Thursday night football, Jared Goff on the road. I just, it blows my mind that Jared Goff is a road favorite.
Now, I like where you're going here, because if you look, perception is reality to a lot of gamblers. You turn on the TV, or maybe even most people probably didn't even watch the first game. All they saw was the score. It said, oh, my goodness, the Rams are back. New head coach. I knew Goff was good. Ooh, Todd Gurley's an amazing, player. The defense looks really good. But when you watch that game, it was more of what the Indianapolis Colts just gave to the Rams. In game 2, Washington. Gabe, Washington's not a great football team. Watching that game throughout, you're talking about, they made a decent comeback, had to have a couple fake punts, but a double-digit margin most of the game, the Redskins held there. And again, could have punched one in late at the end. They had the interception when they were up 7. So that's all what I'm looking at. +3. They didn't get the job at home. Now they're going on the road. The hardest thing to do in the NFL is win on the road on Thursday Night Football. It's such a disadvantage. You're taking Goff on the road. And again, take a look at the 49ers. Most people, Gabe, would say, oh, my God, the 49ers stink. They played a damn good defensive football team in the Carolina Panthers. And then you go up to Seattle and lose by, 3 or 6 points in that game. There's no slouching that. Everybody goes up there typically and gets tuned up in Seattle. In the rain, you played a tough football game. Now you come home, and the opponent's not nearly as good on the defensive side of the ball from Carolina or Seattle. And again, they're on the road. I'll take the points on Thursday here.
Yeah, we're in a complete agreement. And, for the record, when they played last year, San Francisco won 28-0. They beat them twice last year, 22-21, 28-0. And in fact, the 49ers have beaten the Rams the last 3 times that they have played head-to-head. Obviously, it's not the lock of the week or anything like that. It's a train wreck Thursday night football game. But I don't believe that the Rams should be favored here. And, San Francisco had won 6 straight season openers. They got punched in the mouth, but as you stated, Carolina's playing some great defensive football right now. Then they had to go up to Seattle. You know what? They were the 14-point underdogs. They lost the football game by 3. San Francisco, they're playing with heart. It isn't a team that's mailing it in or anything like that. They're trying to build something. Is favored in that game. And it blows my mind that Browns are favored on the road too, but we'll get to that in a second. A little bit of live movement, Donnie. Earlier in the day, I saw Baltimore were -4 against Jacksonville, total 39. This game is in London, England, early morning start, Sunday morning.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Baltimore in this situation, Gabe, especially on the road. The one thing I know about Baltimore is they're not going to be able to typically run away from an opponent. And I like Jacksonville's game plan coming out. It stuck very well in the first half versus the Tennessee Titans. Obviously got a little bit out of whack in the second half. Marshall Yanda goes down, yet another injury for Baltimore. I just see more of the same in this game. I don't think, and again, looking at Wembley, correct me if I'm wrong, Gabe, it's an open-air stadium. So typically every time they go over there, 2 things are going to happen. It's going to be rainy and dreary, and the field conditions are going to be horrendous where it's like an ice skating ring out there. I'll take the points in this instance. It looks like it opened up, about 4.5? 4 somewhere in that range. As long as you're getting 3+, I'm going to lean on Jacksonville here just because I don't think Baltimore can put you away in this instance.
All right, let's take a look at the weather. Sunday morning, London, England, 86 degrees and sunny, surprisingly enough. And sunny.
Okay.
Yeah, it must be. It's sunny all week there, which I don't believe it. I think they're wrong. I think they're lying. It's like a tourist trap. You're trying to get people to believe that it's not dreary there and bleak and rainy. But you're right. Usually the field is a little bit damp there. Jacksonville, are they the home team? I guess technically, as far as Jacksonville is concerned. The owner is from London, big time. Like the Jags have a shop there and stuff, and you'll see a lot of Jags jerseys at the game. I think there really would have been a lot of hype around this game in London, at least if the Jags were 3-0 coming in here. But I got to disagree with you on this one. Mm-hmm. How good Baltimore is, Donnie. I know their defense is good, but I don't know how good their offense is. Played Cincinnati, and Andy Dalton played the third worst game in the history of the National Football League, literally and figuratively. Week 2, they got a Cleveland Brown team at home. And Deshaun Kaiser, he got a migraine. Poor kid had a headache. And now they get the Jacksonville Jags. To me, I can't bet the Jags with any confidence, especially I like them this week against the Titans. I bet on them small, and I paid the price for doing it. I just can't trust them right now. If you can shut down Leonard Fournette, then you're going to shut down the Jacksonville Jaguars. And I think the Baltimore Ravens can shut down Leonard Fournette. And dare I say, I think it's actually a fair number. I don't mind laying 3.5 here.
Yeah, the one thing I'm interested about Baltimore, Gabe, is I want to see somebody actually just not give them the football game. Cleveland Browns had 5 turnovers in that game. It's almost like, what a gift the first 2 games of the season where the other team just hands it to them. Now, again, get back to your point. I mean, Blake Bortles does have a history of giving you football games.
That's what I'm saying.
I think if they run it on the ground, keep Leonard Fournette 25, 26 carries, which they're going to run him into the ground. But, hey, if that's the only way you can hang in football games, I like their defense. I think they can get after Joe Flacco. I don't know, it's a tough game to pick. I mean, again, taking Jacksonville at any point. Baltimore's obviously the better team. I just think if it's in a close type environment, I could see like a 24-21, 21-17 type game right on that 3.5, 4 number. I think it's going to be close. I'll just lean on the points in the situation.
And, one thing is funny because a lot of people, I don't know how you feel about this, Donnie, but a lot of cappers, a lot of people I talk to, they'll state that turnovers are sort of random. That it's a random, exactly. They'll say, it's random and, you can't account for that. Yet, I was going to say that. So Baltimore, 5 turnovers with Cleveland, 5 turnovers with the Bengals. Is it just coincidental? Are Baltimore just lucky that they happen to be there and other teams keep turning the ball over? Or is there something to it that they create the turnovers? The San Diego State Aztecs, I remember a couple of years ago when the Aztecs were getting good, they were plus 22 in the turnover differential. That can't happen again. Well, it does, and it seems to be a pattern every year. Some teams don't. I mean, the New England Patriots don't turn the ball over. I think because the ball's deflated, but that's that's besides the point. But I don't believe that it's random. I think the Baltimore Ravens just have an aggressive nature that sort of creates chaos on the other side of the football. And I think Blair Bortles gets attracted to chaos like a fucking fly does to a light, right? Or a moth to a light at the end, at a gas station type of deal. I just think it's a bad matchup for Jacksonville. I can't trust them against this defense.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's a neutral environment, going to be very sterile. Who's going to be cheering for Baltimore is going to be cheering for Jacksonville. But you're right about the variance of the turnover, so to speak. I'm still waiting on, the Philadelphia Eagles playing last week, the Kansas City Chiefs. I see all the tweets always come out like, oh, man, Chiefs, Chiefs have a really good defense and a quarterback that doesn't take any risks. They don't turn the football over. And yet I see it again, last Sunday, what happened in that game? 2 turners for the Eagles, 0 for the Chiefs. Teams that play loose and willy-nilly, throw the ball 50 times, and have a quarterback who's turnover-prone by throwing interceptions, yes, they are going to continue to lose the turnover war. So I agree with you there, Gabe.
Our boy Grinch in the house from Arizona. What's up, Grinch? And I don't know why you're in love with the Jags so much, Grinch, in this, but it's just me and Donnie talk about it. That's the one thing, Donnie, about this stuff, right? And you know it.
Yeah.
You and I, guys like us, sure, it happens to you, big man. You have a conversation. We're just casually talking about every NFL game. We're giving our opinions, but then it turns into, wow, you're a fucking idiot. How does Morency like the Jags in this? How does he believe it? Yeah, and it's like, guys, we're just giving you an opinion. I'm not telling you it's the best bet of the week, right? I'm just giving you my opinion on the game. But that happens. That happens all the time. So I'm not locking in Baltimore, but I think Baltimore is the side in this game, and the total is 39. Right? I don't know. It's kind of scary, Donnie, because the board's looking pretty clear to me. And in the first 2 weeks, and for the record, we went 4-1, 5-0, and 3-2 in the Super Contest in Vegas this weekend. So we started to get a little bit of a groove here. But I'm looking at the first 2 weeks, it was sort of tough, and I don't know about this game, and I was sort of reaching to get to 5. This week, I got like 5-6 games that jump off the fucking screen at me. And this is the first one that does, the Atlanta Falcons and the Detroit Lions. Detroit Lions are 2-0, but how good are they really? You know, the New York Giants offense is putrid. David Johnson got hurt in the first game. You know, I don't know, situationally, everything seems to have fallen into place for the Lions so far this year. But now they're playing at home on a short week against a football team that is just better than they are. And unlike the Giants and unlike old Carson Palmer, exploit the Lions' weakness, which is a defensive pass, the secondary. They allowed opposing quarterbacks to complete 72% of their passes last year. They have been a little bit better this year, but, put it this way. One of these teams is going to be 3-0, and I don't think it's going to be the Detroit Lions. Give me the Atlanta Falcons. I like the Dirty Bird here. And it's a perfect indoors. It's not like a tough element road game for Atlanta or anything.
Yeah, it's an interesting week overall because last week saw the card really clear. A lot of the stuff that Jeff and I talked about all week long going over the games came to fruition. This week, I see a lot. And again, as the weeks go on, the lines get sharper to me. This is a very sharp line you're looking at this Detroit game. The one thing I loved about Atlanta, Gabe, especially last week going against the Green Bay Packers, was the Green Bay Packers banged up on the offensive line, and Atlanta would be able to get after you, especially with Vic Beasley. Now Beasley out 4 to 5 weeks. That's going to be able for Matt Stafford to take a little bit of a breather after because that pass rush isn't going to be coming as ferocious. Now, if you look at both of these teams, it's pretty clear to me, Gabe, that the more talented team, obviously, is the Atlanta Falcons here. But how up are the Falcons going to be going into this football game, heading back on the road? The good thing, again, is Atlanta is built for speed. So anytime they get in the dome on turf, they're going to always typically have an advantage here. But I can't get by, Gabe, the last couple of years, Matthew Stafford at home with all those comebacks in the fourth quarter, just getting points. I could see it being certainly a public favorite to go with Atlanta because, again, Gabe, I agree with you. Atlanta's the better football team here. I don't know about the spot and how it stacks up, but it's a really sharp line hanging that one right there at 3 for sure.
The fact that the Detroit Lions are 2-0 gets the Atlanta Falcons' attention more than it would. If the Detroit Lions are, if the Lions are 1-1, 0-2, then I get it. It's a ho-hum trip to, the dreary Michigan and Detroit type of stuff. But, and not to mention, Matt Ryan and Matt Stafford are actually good buddies. So they're good friends. So you can have that competitive nature head-to-head, two, clean-cut dudes at quarterback going head-to-head there. But I think the fact that the Lions are 2-0, and I think the Falcons are on a mission. I think the Falcons are on like a SEAL team mission, like they met the SEAL Team 6 last year and stuff. Like, I really do believe it. I think the Falcons are trying to go 16-0. They're trying to, win every game. They're the Super Bowl or bust once again. I think they got blinkers on. And I also think the Falcons will only get better as the season goes on, as they get more accustomed to Sarkisian. And Sarkisian starts to figure some things out a little bit as they go on. Good point about Beasley. I got to bring up the fact, though, Matt Stafford's 5-46 in his career against teams with a winning record. So week 1, everyone's 0-0. Week 2, he played the Giants. They were 0-1. They didn't have a winning record. Now he's playing a team with a winning record, and that's a hard stat and fact to overlook. 5-46 against teams with a winning record, Matt Stafford in his career.
Yeah, no, I mean, it all matches up too, which I would feel even better about the game, Gabe, if you had like a 3.5 or a 4 leaning towards Atlanta. I love the way the game's shaping up, just checking in, to see where that line's going to go. We had over under 49 it opened up at, so sitting at about 50. I can see that. You got 2 gunslingers at quarterback. Atlanta's not going to get shut down by anybody, Gabe. I mean, they're going to be able to put up, mid to high 20s each and every ball game. So that's also something to take a look at as well, because if Atlanta gets up, Stafford's going to be able to sling it around. And the same factor, if Detroit gets up, Atlanta's going to be able to come back in this football game. I don't see a ton of defense being played, and I love the fact, if you're looking at a total in that one with Beasley being out, because again, Stafford's going to have a little bit more time out there to throw. That was a tough defense that they went up against to play with the New York Giants. I'd see a little bit easier of a defense to go up against the Falcons, so maybe you can I would say, move up and down the field quite frequently. 50 points, could probably get there in that game.
Yeah, to me, the total feels a little low, actually. I think, it feels like this should be one of those 53, 54 style track meet games. But, they're giving, you look at the Lions, and as you stated, the Lions, the Lions against the Giants, the Lions could have scored more. They stopped scoring. They just started to try to kill the clock because they knew the Giants couldn't score. And it's interesting. The Dallas Cowboys did the same thing. It's to the point now where the Giants are so bad offensively. Other teams are like, well, guys, we're up by 14. Let's just start milking this. There's no way in hell the other team's going to be able to come back. But I'm with you here. This total feels too short, man. I mean, 24-24, and this game goes over, right? With the field goal getting it up to 51. 50, I'm surprised. I got to believe, Donnie, that this number climbs up, not goes down during the week. It's got to climb up.
I would say the same as well. I would almost even lean there. You're probably more likely, Gabe, to see 3.5 with the Falcons than you would 2.5 with the Falcons, and you're more likely to see 51, 52 than you probably would see 49 by the end of the week. I think you're right on that. Yeah,
I think the total is going to go up. I'm interested in that in the side, though, because right now, and it's been in a couple of books. I'm looking at a couple of spots. You wagered on either the Detroit Lions are +3, -120. The Atlanta Falcons are -3, +100. So that tells me there's a little bit of gap before they want to put the Atlanta Falcons up to 3.5. We'll see where the public bets this game. All right, the Cleveland Browns. I mentioned, I don't know how the Rams are ever favored on the road. Why are the Cleveland Browns road favorites against the Indianapolis Colts?
I mean, I honestly can't understand it here, because if you're taking a look just at everything on a whole, what has Cleveland done that says not only can they be a favorite, but they can win a football game, not even a road football game, even a home football game? You're going to go, and to me, honestly, if Kaiser wasn't playing in this football game and they started Hogan, I would be all over the Cleveland Browns. But you're going to start a rookie on the road in an unfamiliar atmosphere. Maybe he gets a migraine again, a couple quarters into this game. And also, he had 3 turnovers in the past game. I see more of the same from the Colts, almost a similar one, which they should have beaten the Arizona Cardinals there. But your guess is as good as mine, and it's holding there, Gabe. Opened up at 1, still sitting at 1 out there, despite looks like about 55-60% of the tickets coming in early on the Indianapolis Colts. I don't see it. And again, if you're going to bet or say, that's a sharp line, they're favored because they should be, and that's the way Vegas wants it there, good luck. I mean, you're betting on 2 bad football teams in this game, yes, but has there been a track record that Cleveland wins anything, anywhere, at any time?
It's insanity to me. It really is. And listen, I know, you and I talked about it. You and I were both on the Colts, and great call by you. Taking the 7 points. I was on the 7. I talked about grabbing the money line. We fell a day late, $1 short as far as the money line is concerned. We're centering the football over in overtime. Oh yeah, not to mention Corey Coleman has got a broken hand. He's out. He's not playing, so you lose a weapon. Deshaun Kaiser is sort of a homecoming, so to speak, going back to not to South Bend, but to Indiana. Yet, I don't know, man. Deshaun Kaiser in the state of Indiana, he turned the ball over a hell of a lot in that state. That's what I remember as a homecoming. Yeah. And you got a Colt team that's probably, who has more talent? Like, that's what I'm saying. Do you want Moncrief and T.Y. Hilton, or you want Rashad Higgins and Kenny Britt? Like, you go down the list here, I get it. The Colts are, the Colts got their ass handed to them. But I tell you what, Donnie, we cashed that ticket last week, you and I, and I think we can do it again right now. And I know it's a leap of faith because they have to win a football game. Yeah. But I like what you said. Let alone winning a fucking game. Now they got to go win a game on the road. As far as the Colts are concerned, the Colts battled the Cards hard last week. It's not like they got
up double digits in the second half. They should have won the football game.
Yeah, they've battled. And in the first week, all right, they got smoked. But I think we can take advantage of it because it looks like the market just can't get over that first game. And not to mention, Jacoby Brissett's now going to have another week of practice as well as the starter, which is going to make a difference.
No, absolutely. Looking at the game as a whole, as soon as I found out Jacoby Brissett was starting in that football game last week, I was all over Indianapolis because, again, we weren't asking them to win the football game. This week they are. But if you watch the game as a whole, I know he got strip sacked towards the end of the game, which they did get back through the interception, which is a bad pass to start overtime, but he keeps you in the football game. And Cleveland is a turnover-prone organization, like we already talked about. They're not used to winning. Maybe if you flipped the scenes here and you had Cleveland at home versus the Indianapolis Colts dome team going outdoors, I would be all over Cleveland at home, even though they had a rookie quarterback. I think the situation would be completely different. But the fact that Cleveland's going on the road and you're saying, hey, you're supposed to win this football game, I don't buy it.
No, I know, and it's tough to want to bet on, and we're not even telling you guys to bet on the Colts, but we're telling you that it's insane that the Browns are favored on the road. And yeah, I don't know, Donnie. If somebody in the chat, if somebody's out there and says I'm putting $2,000 down on the Cleveland Browns to win this game, then lend me some money because you must be a multimillionaire.
No, yeah, you're right. They're just they're not built to win yet. Yeah.
Yeah. Would anyone take like a significant portion of their bankroll and say, I love the Browns so much here? I don't know. I
want Matt Holt will have to get on with us and say, boy, we just took our largest wager of the week, 150 grand straight up on Cleveland.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to be happening. Yeah. They might get a large wager on the Denver Broncos. This is one of these games, though, it almost feels too easy. We have one of the best defenses, and if this is like college and we're doing rankings after 2 weeks, the Denver Broncos are arguably number one in the rankings, or at least top three. They've looked damn good through 2 weeks. Yet this is Trevor Siemian's first road game of the year, and Buffalo is a hostile and tough place to play. It is. The Buffalo defense is an elite one this year. Very, very good. Rock solid. McDermott's a defensive guy. They were good in the preseason. They've been great through the first 2 games. They were great against Carolina. The defense, offense was on. The offense was 3 and out all day. The Bills defense did a great job there. Trevor Siemian's looked good in the first 2 games, but in a very controlled environment and in a nice setting. You got to give him credit, though, for doing what he did against Dallas. But I'll tell you what, Donnie, it's the first road game of the year for the Denver Broncos after playing 2 games at home. And I looked it up, because I was thinking, man, that their last preseason game was at home against the Cardinals. And in fact, the second to last preseason game was at home. They haven't been on the road since August the 19th, Donnie. And I know they're not a college team that's going to get, they're going on an airplane and it's a big deal and stuff. But nevertheless, it's an early start time for their body clocks. First time on the road. Might be, a little overconfident after they watch the Buffalo Bills' anemic offense on tape. I mean, how the fuck are Harris and Talib not going to start laughing in the tape room, in the film room when they see what they have to defend here? The Broncos could get caught napping, and you never know. Trevor Siemian could have a bad game on the road. But with all that being stated, I'm a diehard Bills fan, and I don't see any of that happening. I think the Bills hang around. It'll be a lower scoring game, but ultimately Denver's defense is just going to be too much for the Bills.
I've taken the Bills quite a bit in these type of scenarios. I even remember back, maybe it was 2 years ago. Who was the quarterback? The young kid, Thiel, was it? When they were playing maybe the Kansas City Chiefs? The one game?
The quarterback, Toole.
Toole, there you go. Yeah, I mean, I've taken the Bills in similar circumstances under much different duress, and they've had success, not always covering, but you're right. This game opening up there, everybody saw opening night. Obviously, Chargers came back in that football game. Denver let them back in a couple turnovers. They missed missed the field goal, end up with a winner. You got to get excited the next week again because it's the national spotlight once more, 4 o'clock game. The big guys are in town. You handle the Dallas Cowboys. You're feeling really good about yourself. Now you got to fly out. You got to go into Buffalo. A lot different circumstances. Not that cushy type environment. More of a big college feel from the stadium. The fans are going to be excited for this one. And it is one of those games, very few times in the NFL that you get, Buffalo's going to get up for New England coming to town. This is one of those games where Buffalo is still in it. And that means a lot in New York. We're 1-1. Let's go out here. Let's play this team. Let's play them straight up. And again, you're right. The better team out there is no question about it to me, Gabe, the Denver Broncos. But the Bills are in a great situation this one. Coming home, good feelings. Hey, we already won opening day, albeit it was against the Jets. We went on the road, fought hard against Carolina. No shame in that. You didn't look at that game going in, Gabe, saying, you know what, Bills have to win this game against Carolina. You're almost playing with a little bit of house money. If you won, great. But let's go home and take care of business. We have a good football team coming in with the Broncos. I like the spot they're in here, Gabe.
Yeah, they are in a decent spot. The early start time, the 2 consecutive home games for the Denver Broncos, Trevor Siemian playing on the road. And it's a good point that you raised, Donnie. Donnie raises good points. Good point that you raised as far as earlier in the season as well. And I always talk about this. Me as a Bills fan, the Bills games in September or early October. Because by the time it's December, they're fucking 4-10, Donnie. You know what I'm saying? And it's
trying to save the coach's job, and you got all the drama around Rex Ryan. Who's going to be our quarterback?
They're better at home in September because exactly what you said. Even though deep down inside every Bills fan knows we're not going to the playoffs, you can fool yourself. They're 1-1. You know what I mean? They won at home. It's like, hey, we won our last home game. We'll protect the turf. That's what Tyrod was saying. We're going to win at home. We're going to defend our home field. You guys will see. And you get into Buffalo and it's dark, it's bleak. The players roll into the parking lot. They look out. There's fucking, fat people having sex. Fucking people are slamming each other through tables, squirting fucking ketchup on each other. It's really a lowbrow visitor's experience. Mm-hmm. It's a tough place to play. It just is. It's just one of these deals. It just is. You got 78,000 motherfucking psychopaths in that stadium.
Yeah, I mean, what else? You got the Bills Mafia out there. They're going to be ready for this game because you're right, Gabe. They're excited. Hey, if we win this, we're 2-1. We'll see what we can do next week and continue to build on it. Hey, all it's going to take is Shady McCoy to have a good game. Also, Bolus out possibly with that bone bruise, which is a really big injury. Denver already doesn't have a great offensive line. Now you have another chink in that armor, and you have a defensive-minded head coach. He's going to be able to scheme out there. Let's not forget, Simeon's still a young quarterback, and again, he's going on the road here. So, yes, I like the shot.
Yeah, I'm a Bills fan. I'm leading with the Broncos. But I know it's going to kill me, man, if the Bills circle the wagons and get it. I'm telling you guys, the Bills play well at home. It's bizarre. There's some weird, but they'll lose in a heartbreaking fashion. I got to stick with the Broncos. I got to stick with my gut. When I saw the line of this game at 2.5, I was like, holy fuck, yeah. I can't believe it. I'm taking the Broncos. I'm not going to abandon ship on this one. Texans are still 13 right now. No real line movement in this game, Donnie. Open at 13, sitting at 13, 43.5. And one thing I'll notice too, Donnie, the totals went up a little bit. Last week we had a lot of totals in the 40s. We're getting a few 43s and 41s, but still generally lower totals this week than we're accustomed to in the NFL. And, New England, I can't recall a Patriot game being 43.5 in a long time off the top of my head.
I can see why it's actually 43.5 though, Gabe. I mean, you're going to have the young kid coming in. Houston's offense was atrocious versus the Cincinnati Bengals. It's not going to get any better. Bill Belichick's going to have that extra time to scheme with the rookie quarterback out there. If you figure out Houston maybe in this game, New England doesn't even have a great defense at this point, but 17 points possibly for Houston. I mean, they were atrocious versus the Cincinnati Bengals. Now going into a tougher environment against a much, much better football team. The one thing that's going to keep this game lower is Houston's, has a good defense. They're going to be able to put pressure on Tom Brady. When Tom Brady's under pressure, maybe Gronk doesn't play in this football game. They're still trying to work out what type of wide receivers they have. Very easily here, Gabe, I can see a 24-10 type of ball game, which I guess that's what they're anticipating. Probably New England scores a little bit more because it's Brady, maybe that 27-28. But hey, 28-10, 28-14 type range, I can certainly see that here. It's tough. This game, I want to take the points, Donnie. I want to take the points because we have such a good defense with the Houston Texans. And we saw last year the Texans terrorized Tom Brady in that playoff game. And that was without J.J. Watt. They were getting in his face. I think they can do that again. The question to me becomes, can the Houston Texans sustain a few drives? Can they run the football? Can Foreman – I like what Foreman brought to the table last week. I was a big Dante Foreman fan of Texas. I like what this kid brings to the table. Can they chew up a 6-minute, chunk of time? They don't even have to score, but can they eat enough time? I'm not a Bill O'Brien fan, and I know you aren't either. No.
The motherfucker's just so conservative. He's going to play not to get blown out, and inevitably he could. But I think Deshaun Watson is special. And even though Deshaun Watson is raw and it's ugly at times, I think the kid's a winner. And we saw he found a way to win that football game last week. I'm not saying he can find a way to win the football game this week, but I think he can find a way to stay within 13 in this football game. And you brought up all the injuries that the Patriots have. Patriots beat up on the Saints. I'm not sure they kick the shit out of the Texans. I think they might sort of like a college team. They'll be just glad to get out of there with a win type of deal. And Deshaun Watson's the X factor with his mobility. The kid pops a big one or two and you're getting 13 points. It's tough to cover a number if you're down. The only question is if the Patriots get up, we're screwed. Deshaun Watson's not going to be able to backdoor this and throw the football down the field.
Yeah, I don't like New England's pass rush, Gabe. If you're asking me right now, I know the future. They're not really worried, I want to say, about Houston winning football games. They want to see what they have in their young rookie quarterback, and I get that. But I actually would be way more confident in this game if Tom Savage started, for the simple fact is New England's pass rush isn't great. So if you can stand Tom Savage upright, you can put drives together. The one thing I was very disheartened with last Thursday, Cincinnati versus Houston, was that Deshaun gave up just about on every single play. He dropped back in the minute he saw pass rush. The eyes dropped down. Now he's looking to play Madden football like he's at Clemson. Let me get out of the pocket, and my athletes are better than yours, and I'll make up a play, improvise. You can't do that against the Patriots because they're going to come in, Gabe, and what are they going to do? They're going to say, you know what? I know you love to throw this wide out, DeAndre Hopkins. He's now off the board. How are you going to beat me now? And if that pass rush comes a little bit on, oh, my goodness, where's Hopkins at? Oh, no, he's double covered. I don't know what I'm going to do with the football. That's what I worry about. I actually would like this better if Tom Savage was in this game. The 13, I think they would be able to cover that.
Donnie Rightside kicking it with us. You can see Donnie weekdays at 12:30 Eastern alongside the big man on campus. Okay, we got the Miami Dolphins and the Jets. For a team that's 0-2, and a team that's 0-2 straight up and against the spread, Donnie, I'll tell you, the Jets are battling. They haven't quit. Somebody brought it up to me today. I think it was Mike Cardano. Said, late in the game, you saw they were down by 20 points, 25 points, whatever. And Adams, the safety kid out of LSU, was high-fiving his teammates after a tackle. They know that they're not going to the playoffs. They're just trying to compete and not embarrass themselves and trying to win a football game or two along the way. And they're battling. And like I said, for a team that hasn't covered a point spread, I don't think the Jets, to me, the Giants are a bigger disgrace than the Jets are. The Giants are a bigger fucking embarrassment to the city of New York than the Jets are this year, in my opinion. Now they're getting 6 points. You and I both like the Chargers, the Dolphins last week against the Chargers, and we were right.
Yes.
Yet now it's a different scenario. The Dolphins were sitting in California the whole week. The Chargers were coming off that short week. Now, the Dolphins, they hadn't been home in like 10 days or whatever the hell it was after the hurricane. They go home. It's the first time they're at home. They only stay at home for a couple of days. They got to prepare for a Jets team. A Jets team that they know the same thing. Everyone, they're thinking, this is going to be easy. We're going to New York to play the Jets. This seems like a little bit of a trap game to me. In a similar situation the Broncos does at the Bills, this seems like a little bit of a trap. And it's a division rivalry game, and weird shit has happened between these two teams over the years.
Yeah, Gabe, if we take a look at this game when it's whole, you're right. Miami's a much better football team than the Jets. The Jets know what they're going to be in for. Everybody saw the Jets. Oakland's a damn good football team. A lot of people going into play in the black hole are going to get smoked similar to what they did. They went and played in Buffalo week 1. It wasn't a total destruction, terror game. I mean, they fought. They played hard. You're right. In this one environment, Gabe, it's interesting. I don't like the Jets' full game here. But if there's one time the Jets are going to get amped, feel good, maybe feel the home crowd a little bit, it's going to be in the first half of this football game. I'm going to say if you can get the Jets 3.5 or 4, because the line's 6.5, so you can probably get 4 in the first half. I like the Jets hanging around this football game in the first half. They don't even have to lead. Just hang around 13-10, 10-7 at the half. You can get the cover. It's hard to bet the Jets for me full game because I know sooner or later that talent disparagement is going to catch up. Jay Cutler's going to hit one of those wide receivers. J.J. is going to melt that defense late. But I think if there's one spot that you can trust the Jets in here, it would be the first half when you still have those good feelings about being at home in the home opener. Let's go out and see what we can do, and we'll reconfigure at halftime.
You know what? And I bet on the Dolphins, and I took them in the super contest, and I loaded up on them. So I'm not going to abandon ship and start ripping Jay Cutler right now. Jay Cutler played well last week. Yeah. And, the guy's throwing the ball accurately. He's got a cannon of an arm. I've never seen Jay Cutler as happy as he is. He really seems happy in Miami. Genuinely. For his first time, you've actually seen him. He's same thing. He's high-fiving guys. He's patting them on the butt. He's really into it. He's having a good time. But he still did some strange things, okay? And there was still that, oh, God, don't do this, Jay. And he throws a ball in there. He still did his patented stupid shovel pass a couple of times last week that was lucky not to get picked off. He is.
How about the Hail Mary at the half, right before the half, Gabe?
When he hit a cheerleader, I think.
I mean, first of all, he's got one of the best cannons in the NFL. They're about midfield or whatever, and he throws I don't even think it would have went past the 25-yard line and hit a cheerleader out of bounds. It was awesome.
And the ball, like you said, Cutler, you figure the one thing Cutler can do is throw it straight 60 yards in the air. Yeah. Cutler heaves one up. It's like this weird pop fly type thing. Yeah. It's like a Kim Jong-un North Korean missile. It starts sailing. No one knows where it's going. Dude, I literally landed in the stands. No joke.
No, it actually, because I landed in. you have a couple monitors on, you see it go out of bounds, and you say, did I just see what I saw there? And that was a Hail Mary, and it made me laugh. And again, yeah, Twitter was real quick to pick up with that.
Cutler threw it straight. He was on the field. He threw it straight, and some of the ball sailed. And it was like, it literally, like, no one even saw where it landed. Like, I think it landed in the stands. Yeah, Twitter lit up. And then he threw a fucking bullet, 49-yard touchdown or 36-yard touchdown after that, and Twitter didn't say shit. But with that being stated, Cutler going on the road, that wasn't a road game last week. That was a country club shit. That was a country club shit last week.
Probably had more than half, or maybe even half the fans. Yep.
Dolphins said it felt like a home game for them. And we'll get to this with the Chiefs. It's going to be vicious this week there. So, you have, now it's going to be different. I'm just stating, I don't trust Jay Cutler. I trust Jay Cutler getting 3.5, 4 on the road against the Chargers. Yeah. I'm not fucking trusting Jay Cutler to lay 6 points. And wouldn't shock you if Jay Cutler threw a fucking pick 6 on Sunday in New York. It wouldn't shock me.
No, wouldn't shock me at all. Yeah, again, it's a back-to-back road game. You're right. I like the angle that, the Dolphins had to be displaced. They're out in California for, a week and a half. They play that football game. They fly home. They see what's what. They head back into, the facility. Let's get used to this. We're going to fly up. And again, they're human beings as well. Who are we playing this week? We got the Jets. Oh, man, we should be able to handle the Jets. So, it all plays into it a little bit, but I like the emotional.
Jay girlfriend, I hate getting TMZ here, but that Christian Cavallari chick, she lives in New York, dude. All right, I read the New York Post. They're always in page 6 walking their fucking dog and all that type shit. She lives in New York. Jay Cutler, he's going to go get his dick sucked. He's going to go to his New York condo. I'm telling you. I think you got to think about everything. So when they're at the team, Cutler's thinking, all right, this is great. We're 1-0. I was just in L.A. Now we're going to New York. I got a fucking condo in the Upper West Side. I'm going to check out. Like, he'll be at the hotel. All right, guys, I'll be back in a few hours. He's going to go home. He's going to walk his dog and shit. He lives in New York, Jay Cutler. Like, and, it's, to me, I think about all these little things, just thinking little distractions. Meanwhile, you got the Jets just sort of stewing, thinking everyone mocks us every week. Everyone says we're not going to fucking win. I don't know, man. The Jets look dangerous to me in this spot. They really do. I like where you're going with that first half, too, though.
Yeah, I would just lean on the first half. I don't know if the Jets can actually win the football game. I just see, sooner or later, the Jets are going to Jets themselves, if that makes sense. But I think in the first half, they're going to be feeling good about themselves. And again, not asking them to be in the lead at the half. I'm just asking them to hang around, be less than or a little bit outside of a field goal. I'll take the 4 points if that's probably what it's going to end up there on Sunday.
All right, so it's Saints and Panthers. We got an even 6 points right now, total 47. I don't know, call me crazy, man, but I'm feeling the Saints in this game. I know they haven't shown us anything. I wish Willie Snead was going to be back, and I really think the Willie Snead factor does make a big difference. But we want to talk about favorable schedules and situations to start a season. Yeah, we'll give Carolina credit. We'll give their defense credit. They've only given up 6 points in 2 football games. They played the San Francisco 49ers in a game. It was the coordinator, the coach, coordinator, quarterback, wide receivers, everybody's first game. And then they played a Buffalo Bill team that's the longest play of the game was 15 fucking yards. 2 offensively challenged football teams. Carolina's offense is very pedestrian. Cam Newton's nowhere near to 100%. I'm a Bills fan. I watch that game, every play of the game. Cam Newton looks like he's fucking 72 years old and he's one hit away from like being knocked out for real. Every time he gets hit, he gets up and it's like he stays down. And, their offense is not clicking right now either, Carolina. And then you got a Saints team who's going to be desperate. It's a division rivalry game. They're going to be desperate. They don't want to be 0-3. The Saints have had a tough schedule, man. They open up at Monday Night Football at Minnesota. That's a tough game. They're not supposed to win that game. Then they play a pissed-off Tom Brady and the New England Patriots in week 2. They weren't supposed to win that game. The Saints' schedule gets easier as we go along. I don't think the Saints are in the same mentality as a Bengals team, Donnie. Like, the Bengals are like, oh, fuck, we're 0-2. We're fucked. This is over. Coach probably to get fired. I think the Saints are thinking, you know what, guys, if we just win a fucking game, we got an easy schedule coming up. We're still in this thing.
Yeah, if you look at the game and you say Carolina itself, we watched the first 2 games. Cam, not very good against the 49ers. And again, stemming back from preseason where he only threw, I think, 1 or 2 passes the entire preseason. Didn't even technically have an off season with the surgery where he can work out, get in the rhythm. and you're taking away his security blanket. Olsen is one of the best tight ends in football, and there's no better or easier pass for a quarterback to make when he's under pressure or just needs to get in rhythm is that 8-yard play over the middle, and you let Olsen do his thing because he's open damn near all game long. That's going to be taken away. The one thing that I'm going to worry about a little bit if I'm going to lean towards taking the New Orleans Saints is just their overall rush defense, because Carolina can be physical up front and get after it. I'm still waiting for that breakout game for Christian McCaffrey. I know Stewart's going to be able to pound the football, but looking at the game, you're going to have to score points against New Orleans. Like, Carolina's not going to go out and win this game 20-9 because the New Orleans Saints are going to push you. Whether or not they win the football game, Drew Brees has the ability to go up and down the field. Doesn't matter what defense he's going against. And can Carolina keep up? Because if you're saying it's going to be a 6-point spread here, Gabe, what do you say? Carolina would have to get at least 28 to 31 points in this one?
I don't know if they can do that.
They haven't shown much. That's what I mean. They haven't shown anything. And you're taking their best weapon away from them, and Cam Newton's already struggling as is.
And let's look at the history of these two teams. A division rivalry, ultra close, Donnie. 23-20 Carolina last year, 41. So the both home teams won last year, 23-20, 41-38. So they played 2 3-point games. Oh, yeah, the year before, 41-38. So the last 3 times they played, it's been a 3-point game exact. 27-22, 5-point game. So the last four games that they played have been decided by 14 points, and we're getting 6. I don't see anything different. I think this game comes down to the wire. I think the Saints can win this game outright. Sometimes we got to be bold, Donnie, brother, like you and I were with the Indianapolis Colts. I like the fucking New Orleans Saints plus the 6 points here.
Yeah, if Carolina blows them out, then so be it. But they haven't shown me or given me any indication. Now, they did play, Bills have a good defense. San Francisco does have a good defense. But I'm more worried about Cam Newton. If they get into, let's just say, I don't even want to say a shootout, but, a tick-for-tat type game, Cam Newton hasn't shown me he can throw that ball on a dime yet and just move that offense up and down the field against anybody. Until I see it, that he's fully, completely healthy, I'm not going to trust in it again. Olsen being out is a major, major injury for them.
Huge. It is. And, you mentioned McCaffrey. Everyone's waiting for him to break loose. McCaffrey's finding out that, he's not playing against the Beavers anymore. Yeah. Other guys in the NFL are pretty fast as well. He's not a bust or anything, but anyone thought he's just going to wreck the league. You're sort of mistaken on that one. Carolina's offensive line is very bad as well. It's sort of a deal. New Orleans defense, isn't very good. We're aware of that. I don't know if Carolina can exploit it. Carolina can throw the ball to Benjamin a little bit, but like we said, every time Cam Newton drops back to pass, the Buffalo Bills fucking harassed him, man. And I know the Bills defense is much better than the Saints defense is, but I think the number's too high here. I'm comfortable with this one. We're going to wait, ride it out throughout the week. We're not locking anything in yet, but where I'm sitting right now, this is the one dog that really does catch my eye. I like the picks this week, which could be bad news actually, because I've loved it before and it had bad days. All right, Pittsburgh Steelers are laying 7 on the road against the Bears. The total's 44 in this one.
Interesting game. If you're going to look, most people, again, if you're betting with your eyes, you're saying, let me get this straight. I'm going to get the Steelers. Line's going to be about 7.5. I saw how bad the Bears were last week. It's going to automatically roll over. But you have to know what you're going to get out of the Pittsburgh Steelers. They should be getting better and better as the year goes on. They really weren't tested last week, straight up in that game with Minnesota. Minnesota comes in as soon as Sam Bradford was out for that football game, and they got a backup quarterback in there. They just had to roll their helmets out there and win that game. The only thing that's interesting, and again, Chicago is going to be home here. It's hard to win in the NFL by double digits on the road, regardless of where you go. Yeah. Case in point, game 1. You saw Atlantic go into Chicago, still a bad football team, and almost got beat. So you're coming in, I don't even want to say house money, because you are really what you are after 2, 3, 4 weeks in the NFL. I don't think the Bears are a very good overall football team, because if you watch them last week versus Tampa Bay, they actually moved the football, but once they got inside the 20, they turned it over. It was so late in the game where they were going on every 4th down. I think they're going to give a pretty good effort here, but I don't know if they have enough to score with Pittsburgh, because if Pittsburgh comes into this game, Gabe, and they're on, Chicago's not going to be able to put up 21 points in this football game to hang around here.
One thing is, though, the Steelers, and I know this from the fantasy world, massive dichotomy between the home and away splits. Ben Roethlisberger.
Yes.
Ben just struggles on the road for some reason, and their offense becomes pedestrian on the road for some reason. Le'Veon Bell's been unable to get unhinged through 2 weeks so far. We keep waiting for Pittsburgh to break loose. Thing with Pittsburgh is they're sort of an aging football team. They got some young guys on the defensive side of the football, but the offense is an aging one. And I wonder, Pittsburgh sort of picked their spots. Pittsburgh have a tendency to play down or up to the level of competition, Donnie. And we saw that with the Cleveland Browns in week 1. They weren't that interested. They got the win. They got it done. They didn't get the cover. They were interested. Home opener, Minnesota Vikings. Minnesota's a good team. They were interested. Now we go back, and you get Chicago coming off a future performance against the Bucs. I wouldn't be surprised if this game was very similar to the home opener that we saw with the Falcons and the Bears, and the Bears are much better. I don't like Mike Glennon. I can't bet on Mike Glennon, but I'm telling you guys right now, I don't think you can lay 7 points with the Steelers in this game. To me, it's a pass game, Donnie.
Yeah, actually, it's a little, maybe even a little bit different there. The total in that game, Gabe, opened up at 46, 45.5, now sitting at 44. I actually could see an over in this one. If they get good weather out there, I could easily see Pittsburgh scoring on that Chicago defense, because the game was so out of whack in Tampa that Tampa just threw on the brakes. Tampa could have hung 40 on the Chicago Bears in that one, but they were just taking the air out of the football lake. The Bears were struggling, spitting all over themselves up and down the field. I could easily see, let's just say the Pittsburgh Steelers go up and get like maybe 14 points in the first quarter. Glennon's going to be throwing it. He threw for 300 yards last week, but they just couldn't punch anything in the end zone or score any points. I would actually lean towards taking a total wager in this game. 44 seems kind of cheap to me here if the weather's nice in Chicago.
This next game pisses me off, Donnie. I got to admit, I'm 0-4 combined here with these teams. I had Seattle in week 1 at Green Bay. No, I didn't take San Francisco. I didn't take Seattle against San Francisco. I had them on a lottery ticket type thing. So, but I was wrong with the Titans. I had the Titans in week 1 against the Raiders, and then I abandoned the ship, and I thought the Jaguars would beat the Titans. Didn't happen. So now you have the Titans laying 3. Seattle, are they what the record says they are? I think it's a little too early, and I used that reference earlier like you just did, Donnie, with Bill Parcells. Yeah. I think it's still a little bit too early. But, Seattle's not going to be able to correct their offensive line issues. Their offensive line is just bad. Their offense is just bad. Russell Wilson's completing 56% of his passes. Jimmy Graham, through 2 games, Donnie, has 4 receptions for 9 fucking yards, man. Yeah. 9 yards in 2 games. Something's not right here, and it all starts and ends with the offensive line. Yet you've got the pedigree. These are the games that Tennessee never win. They couldn't get it done against the Raiders in this spot. Now you got another good team coming in here. Can they get it done and win this game? I don't know. I have a hard time trusting either team in this game.
A lot of respect, Gabe, opening up Tennessee -3 here, because the public always is going to see that line and say, wait a second, I can get Seattle plus points here.
So Mike Mularkey's a favorite. Mike Mularkey's a favorite against Pete Carroll. That's all we need to say right here. That's a little fucked up. Mularkey's a horrible coach.
Yeah, I mean, watching the tape last week, going over and seeing what the 49ers were doing against the Seattle Seahawks, they were able to run the football. I mean, Carlos Hyde had, 120, 130 yards on the ground, looked good doing it. The one thing I was really unimpressed with, again, it's not so much the offensive line, Gabe, it's the overall weapons that Seattle has. I know Carson's a decent running back, and who the hell knows where Eddie Lacy is, and if Thomas Rawls comes back, but you saw last week a couple big shots on Jimmy Graham. He's not going to be coming into this game 100%. Their wide receivers don't spark any fear in you, and Russell Wilson runs for his life the entire game. It's almost like Seattle's so good on defense here, Gabe, that they mess around for like the first 3 quarters, and then they're within a touchdown or they're down 3 or up 3, and Russell Wilson goes, all right, I got to be Superman for about 2 or 3 plays here to move us down the football field so we can win this game. I look for more of the same. You can't get away with that much. And again, you're going outside of Seattle. You don't have that massive advantage being at home with that crowd noise. You're on the road. You're used to turf. You're a fast defense. Now you're going outside on grass here. I love the fact that Tennessee opened up as a favorite here. I like the fact that Tennessee, I was high on them versus the Raiders. Raiders beat them, going on the road then against Jacksonville, handling their business, coming home. Now, it's a measuring stick game for Tennessee, saying, all right, you know what? We already lost to the Raiders. We can't lose to the Seattle Seahawks at home and still think we're a real football team. I like the Tennessee Titans here.
Well, you're starting to sell me a little bit, and it's a good point that you raised. You can't be 0-2. You can't be 0-2 on your home field. Yeah. You're right. You got to win your home games here. I like where you're going with that tricky game. Yeah. But Seattle do have some serious problems right now. They have no ground attack. They can't run the football. They can't protect their quarterback. You brought it up. The wide receivers, Richardson's okay. I'm a Baldwin guy, but Baldwin's more of a number 2 than a legitimate number 1. I was dead wrong about Jimmy Graham. I thought Jimmy Graham was going to have a big year this year, and we'll see. I mean, if the Seahawks offense can't get it going, they couldn't get it going against Green Bay. And we saw Atlanta go up and down the field against them. Then they couldn't get it going against San Francisco. I don't know if they're going to be able to flick that switch. So I understand why you like Tennessee in this game. Cincinnati Bengals at Green Bay. The sky's falling on the Bengals right now. They fire their offensive coordinator. It's 8.5 points. I had to tell you, I'm not in a hurry to lay 8.5 points here. I can't in good faith take Andy Dalton on the road in this spot, but I don't like picking on teams that are in bad moods. You know what I mean, Donnie? They're in a bad mood, the Bengals, and all it takes is a couple of plays. And, Andy Dalton's been bad, but they've also had a lot of bad luck. Like, nothing's really gone their way. Something eventually could go their way. I'm not in a hurry to lay 8.5 points with the Packers here.
I think the Packers win this football game, but I like where you're going with this because let's look at Green Bay as a whole. In that national spotlight game, we got trounced. Yeah, we're going to go back to Green Bay where we always play well, but let's not forget Jordy Nelson gets banged up. Randall Cobb gets banged up in that game. And also Cincinnati embarrassed again a week and a half ago. They had the extra time on the mini bye here. It's one of those games where, Marvin Lewis looks at Andy Dalton in the film room and says, look, it's either now or never this week. We go 0-3. It's going to get ugly. People are going to call for your job. They're going to call for my job, regardless if we win this football game, because there's no shame, again, Gabe, going to Green Bay and losing 30-27. There's not. Nobody expects the Bengals to win this football game or go in there and dominate the Packers. But I think the Packers are showing a little bit of chinks. Let's see if maybe they don't get healthy on the offensive line, Green Bay. Now you're down maybe possibly 2 wideouts, not at 100%. Green Bay didn't operate very well with all those injuries last week against Atlanta. Cincinnati does have a pretty good defensive football team, but it all gets back to what Andy Dalton's going to do. If they can just lean on the running game, maybe the new guy coming in as the offensive coordinator says, hey, you know what? We have one of the best wide receivers in football over the past, 6 to 7 years. Why don't we get him involved in the offense here? Let's run the ball. Let's take instead of you throwing 40 times, maybe we throw it 28 times, and we're going to keep you out of harm's way. I like where you're going with this. I think it's too many points. I think it's an overreaction from what people saw, but more of being reality saying, hey, Green Bay's a banged-up football team.
And Cincinnati do have a good defense. And, and I just don't trust the Packers in this spot. And I want to take the Bengals. I really do. I vowed never to bet on them again, and I took Houston last week. And remember, Donnie, you even tweeted me, and you said, I'm going to talk you into doing it again. You might be doing it right now here. I think we're going to do it.
Yeah, because, again, we're not again, it gets back to the point in the NFL. A lot of these games are played close. I'm not asking Cincinnati to go in there and win this football game. Hang around at the end. Maybe you're down 14 points in the last 3 minutes when Green Bay doesn't care. You walk down the field. A.J. Green scores like a red zone touchdown. It's a 7-point game. I'm not even saying I'm going to wager on the game. I'm just trying to give options here that, hey, you know what? It's a lot of points. How can Cincinnati attack this? That's how I think they can do it.
All right, we talked about the Dolphin fans taking over the stadium in L.A. With the Chargers, and the Dolphins don't even really have that many fans. The Kansas City Chiefs do. And the Kansas City Chiefs fans like to travel. Why not? They're in the middle of fucking nowhere. So they get an opportunity to go to L.A. for the weekend. They know it. The tickets aren't going to be expensive. It's one of these deals where it's probably like $400 to get into a Chiefs game because it's sold out. You can get a ticket to this game for $40 and sit on the 50-yard line essentially. So I'm telling you right now, Donnie, I guarantee it. It's going to be like 80% fucking Chief gear in there. It's going to be all red in that stadium. It's going to look like a blood fucking convention in LA. The Chiefs, I think the Chiefs are going to be the home field here, and maybe the Chargers deserve better, but whatever. We all deserve better. Life's not fair. It is what it is. And maybe Phillip Rivers deserves better and Gates deserves better, but Spanos is a douchebag, and maybe Karma's a bitch. But I just think the Kansas City Chiefs are a better football team than the LA Chargers are right now. The Chargers just find ways to lose games. What's your take on this one?
No, I do. I'm going to play the contrarian a lot here as we talk football and talk NFL. If this is one spot you want to go against the Kansas City Chiefs, it's right here and right now. Let's take a look at the first 2 games. Opening night, nobody expects us to win. We go into New England, we blow the doors off the place. Game 2, we're going to go back home opener. Oh, look who's coming. Andy Reid's old team. Coach, man, we want to beat it. We want to win this game. I know how important it is to you to beat the, your predecessor. Don't let Doug Peterson win. And it's the Eagles. It's going to be a lot of excitement there. Now you go into that sterile environment out there in the soccer stadium, and you're going to be on the road, and you're going to say, you know what? We got to win this football game. Mitch Morse's going to be out the center for Kansas City, which is always big when you go into a different place. The center outside of the quarterback, I always look because that's the guy making the signal callers, and the guy was a very good player. Now you're going to have a backup in that instance. But if you're looking overall here, the Chargers play with teams. You saw it with the Denver game, came right down to the wire. You saw it in the Dolphins game, came right down to the wire. And a lot of people, look at the early betting, 78% are betting the Chiefs. No surprise there. We all saw the Chiefs. The Chiefs are a really good football team, but if you're going to play contrarian here of why you can maybe sneak through the back door with the Chargers, they're 0-2, no fault of their own, quote unquote, because their kicker just can't make a couple kicks. They should easily be 1-1, and maybe he makes the field goal in Denver, and they go into overtime and win, and they're 2-0. It's a very slim margin for error. If that line creeps up to 3.5, I would be more than happy to take the Chargers in this instance, Gabe.
We should note, I want to say the Chiefs have beaten them 6 straight times. So it's been 4 years since the Chargers have beaten them. This game has the same feel as the Bronco-Bill game, doesn't it? It's a very similar situation.
Yes, it does. Correct.
The Chiefs aren't a West Coast team, but nevertheless, AFC West, Midwest, travel, 2-0, going into a different environment. I actually, and it's a tough game. I can understand. It's a tough game. But as we said, I've historically bet the Chiefs in this rivalry over the years. They've won 6 straight. Let's look at the scores: 37-27, 33-27, 10-3, 33-3, 19-7, 23-20. Last time the Chargers beat the Chiefs was 2013. Wow. Okay, so which leads us into the Sunday nighter, the Raiders and the Redskins. I like the Raiders in this game, and I like the over. Kirk Cousins just doesn't perform well in big games. I think it could hit 3.5 maybe, and maybe it'll even go up to total 54.5. But I just think the Raiders are the play in this game, and I think the Raiders catch a break. Listen, the Raiders are actually a good road team. That's something we can't deny. The Raiders have been a good road team under Del Rio and Carr, and the Raiders catch a big time break. The game being in prime time nullifies the early start. I think that sort of nullifies a lot of the roadness of it. The Raiders are a very popular team. They're going to have a lot of fans in this game. It's prime time television. Raiders aren't on prime time all that much, even though they're good. So, they're Raider Nation's going to be all fired up for this game. And, quite frankly, the Redskins aren't that good. They're okay. They're an average football team. I just don't see the Redskins being able to beat the Raiders in this spot.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at Washington here, if you ask Kirk Cousins to a man, behind closed doors, would you rather have Terrell Pryor go back to Pierre Garçon and Deshaun Jackson, who they lit it up with the past couple of years? I'm sure he would probably go back to the latter in that situation. It looks too easy, though, Gabe. Oakland looks so good. -3 hangs up there. Everybody, we know how good Oakland goes on the road and beats a damn good Tennessee football team. Goes home and dismantles the Jets, and everybody saw it. Marshawn's dancing. You have the pretty boy, really good quarterback. You have Marshawn Lynch in the backfield, 2 really good wide receivers, a pass rush that can get after you. And you look at this game and go, I've watched Washington, the first 2 games. Not really impressive. And you say, how the hell is this game only 3 when you know?
Like, how is Breland and Norman? They should be better than they are, but how are Breland and Norman going to deal with Crabtree and Cooper and Derek Carr all day? I just don't see it. I think the Redskins, it's a track meet. I like the over. I think both teams, the Raiders defense isn't great. I see the Redskins putting up 24 points. I look at this game. I think it's like a 34-24 style game, Donnie.
Yeah, the side's tough to actually call here because if you're being an ultimate contrarian, you say, well, hey, Washington's at home. Everybody expect the Raiders to win, and they're getting points and the home dog and all that. I get it, but I think you're on to something a little bit better. If you just break this down as a whole, I'm not really big on Washington's defense. Outside of Ryan Kerrigan, it's not like they can automatically get home. Oakland's got a pretty good offensive line. And if you flip it on the other side of the field, the secondary for Oakland's not fantastic. Kirk Cousins can throw the football. If Reed plays in this game, I know a couple of those guys are banged up. You have that tight end outlet over the middle. Terrell Pryor can get off down the field. Maybe Crowder actually shows up for once in a football game. But you're right. I don't see that many defensive stops, 3 and outs. Let's keep the ball on the ground. There's going to be a lot of play action passing in this game. If it's nice weather, I can easily see that game heading into the high 50s here, Gabe.
And you saw Carson Wentz torch this defense in week 1. And we saw the Rams come back and put up 20 on them. Yeah, I think, and it's funny because all the games I like are all these 3-point games that are almost, they all seem too obvious. I like the Denver Broncos as 3-point favorites. I like the Chiefs as 3-point favorites. I like the Raiders as 3-point favorites. And finally, in closing, I like the Dallas Cowboys as 3-point favorites, said Donnie. It seems almost too obvious to me, this one as well. Yeah, good for you. Arizona won that football game. They got it done against Indianapolis. We got to give them credit for digging down deep. They didn't quit. They won the game outright. But to me, I just can't overlook no David Johnson. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, no, it's a hard one. And the one thing that you have to like if you're Dallas, Gabe, they're questioning their manhood right now.
Exactly.
Dak gets thrown under the bus. Hey, Zeke, you don't even try anymore. You're just being given everything here. And you're walking into a pretty good situation, Gabe, because you're going up against Arizona. It's not like you're going in to play the Eagles, or you're going in the Giant Stadium, or you're going out again to play like a team like Denver. You're going home. The Arizona Cardinals, they're going to be excited to be home. Home opener. Oh, yes, but that's going to be a deflated crowd because they know what product they have on the field. They should have lost last week for Indianapolis. This is one of those games where I like to call it in baseball, a get-right game. Just looking at it as a whole, it looks too easy to take the Cowboys at 3. I think that game's going to probably go to 3.5 and 4 by the time it hits game time. Yeah. I can't see Dallas losing to Arizona in this environment. I just can't see it.
And you know what, Donnie? There's a shitload. I remember even going back to the old days. Remember when Arizona used to be in the NFC East
yes,
in the
correct.
old days?
Mm-hmm.
I remember for years, man. There's a ton of Cowboy fans out there.
Oh, huge. Oh, absolutely. Every time they went to a Sun Devil Stadium, I don't even think – it's always seemed to me there wasn't even a Cardinal fan even in the house.
Exactly. In the Southwest, guys, the Cowboys are very popular, right? They're popular with Hispanics, like everybody. Like the Cowboys sort of unite everybody, black, white, Latino, etc. The Cowboys
because they had no football team down there. So when the Cowboys came in, if you're in the Southwest, New Mexico, whatever, that was your team down there. Yeah.
Exactly. They all grew up with the Cowboys. So it's going to be an even split. And like you said, real Arizona fans know they're fucked, right? I mean, I bet on Arizona to win 8.5 games. I'm done. Like, I've given up, done. I don't even, they played a bad division. Maybe I can sweat at home and 9 wins, but I just don't fucking see it. Kerwin Williams came in last week to replace David Johnson. He rushed for 22 yards.
Yeah, you want to get that news that says, oh, my God, David Johnson's really healing. He's going to be back sooner than later.
Yeah, exactly. He's fucking he's Superman. All right, so great stuff as always, Donnie. Before we get you out of here, I know you love your baseball as much as anybody. Baseball breaks the home run record. 12 days to go in the regular season. They hit their 5,694th home run of the season. A lot of people are debating this, and the debate's been going on all year as to why. Are the players juiced? Is the ball juiced? Is the ball wound just a little bit tighter? Or is it the fact? I have a couple of theories, and I think maybe the ball is just wound up a little bit tighter than it used to be. And I've seen a lot of players bounce it, and they say before a ball wouldn't bounce back like this, right? And now it's almost like a rubber ball, a super ball. It bounces back. You can bounce it off the grass. In the old days, you could, have to bounce it off the old Veteran Stadium, Olympic Stadium, concrete turf type of deal. But I think something is a good point in the sense that, remember growing up, Donnie, I'm a little older than you are, but you remember in the old days, it was accepted. You got a fucking little guy you got a Hispanic shortstop that hits 198, but fuck, he's a Gold Glover. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It was accepted.
Ozzie Smith, one home run a year, hit 202, but wins Gold Glove every year. Yes.
Exactly. It was accepted that your catcher was going to have a fro and the fucking beard and the glasses, and he was going to hit 222 and 14 home runs, but he was your damn catcher. You know what I mean? Steve Yeager.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's not accepted anymore. Every position is expected to hit 20 home runs in today's day and age. And I remember I did the Expos post-game show, and I interviewed every fucking baseball player. I went to strip clubs with them. So I got a good behind-the-scenes look at baseball guys. And I was buddies with Brad Wilkerson. I don't know if you remember him. Brad Wilkerson, outfielder, played for the Florida Gators, on the U.S. Olympic team, once won a medal. Pretty good baseball. He
went down when they went down to Washington. Wasn't Wilkerson still with them?
Yes, exactly. Yes. Yeah, he was. Sure. He was a good ball player. Not great, but good ball player. And, he hit like fucking 280 type shit. He was a good hitter, into the gap, doubles type guy. Center fielder, good guy, Florida Gator, national champion. Just sort of a winning pedigree type of kid. He hit fucking 20 home runs, okay, 1 year. And basically, he changed everything after that. And, he started striking out. He wasn't as clutch anymore. But you know what? He hit 20 fucking home runs. And I asked him, because I was buddies with him, point blank. Yeah. I said, dude, fuck. I said, what do you think you're fucking Barry Bonds now? What's the deal, man? I said, you used to have this great swing, bro. What's going on? What are you doing? Like, off the air, I said this to him. Like, what are you doing, fuck? I said, you're swinging like you're fucking trying to kill the ball all the time. And he goes, yeah, man, my agent fucking told me, fuck, doubles and singles don't get you paid anymore.
There you go.
And point blank. And he goes, I don't even, he goes, I know. And he goes, I'm a purist, Gabe, but he goes, damn it, it's about the money, man. And like, it's a job to them. And he basically said, he goes, I can hit fucking doubles all day. He goes, I hit 20 home runs. Suddenly I got a $4 million offer. This is a long time ago, so $4 million wasn't bad. Yep. He goes, I hit doubles, I get $2 million. I hit home runs, I get $4 million. He goes, I don't have a choice. I got to swing for the fences. And I think that mentality is with everybody in the bigs now.
Yeah, I mean, look at the guys with the shift. I mean, just being in Philadelphia, looking at Ryan Howard over the years, Gabe, the guy would hit, when he came up, they didn't know how to pitch him or pitch around him, I should say. So he had a couple of years, hitting the high 50s in home runs. Then the shift came in vogue, and it's literally saying, hey, Ryan, if you just, hit the ball on the ground to the left side, you get a base hit. And his comment was always, they pay me to hit home runs, not to get singles, which was always baffling because as you tried to drill it in his head, saying, well, maybe if you singled 3 times to left field, there would be no shift.
No, they don't even want him to do that. You're right. They're paying him, and they're like, no, motherfucker, we're paying you to swing for the fence.
Yep. That's all that, and that's where that whole concept changed. And now you're hearing, back when we were growing up, Gabe, it was always, make contact, hit down on the baseball. Now the trajectory is completely into an uppercut and nobody anymore is a 2-strike hitter. They're going to take the same cut they took first, first strike, the same one on third, because again, you're right. You get paid. If you hit 202 with 35 home runs, that's way better than 292 with 11 home runs.
You're a fucking nobody. Who gets more love, D. Gordon or Joey Votto? You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And you raise a great point. It drives me fucking crazy with the shift. And I get it in the regular season, but at times I'm like, for the love of God, lay a fucking bunt down.
Just lay it, exactly. And you get it. Yeah. And the concept to me is always, well, I'm a power hitter. Why would I just want to do that? Well, you idiot. If you did it 5 times in a row, there would be no more shift on you, you moron.
Exactly. It's like football. You're setting them up with the run. They don't understand the mentality. If you just did it once in a while, you let them, listen, I don't want to do this, but if you're going to force me to do it, I will bunt.
Exactly.
And you just let them know, I will do this. It drives me crazy with that. Now, one thing as well, look at Vladimir Guerrero. All right? So Vladimir Guerrero is a great fucking baseball player. People said about Vladimir Guerrero that he was a choker in the playoffs. He didn't carry the Angels enough in the playoffs. If you look at Vladimir Guerrero in the playoffs, he was actually not bad. But I remember, Donnie, it was always singles and stuff. And I remember people would get mad. Yeah, you hit fucking 304 against the Red Sox in the series, but he didn't hit any home runs, and he only hit singles. I remember people getting fucking mad about Guerrero hitting singles in the playoffs. I really do.
Yeah, no, imagine today's day and age where Tony Gwynn would come up and like, this guy can't play. Like, he just doesn't hit for enough power. He can't play.
Rod Carew wouldn't make the team. Rod Carew, like, be like, fuck this skinny kid. He only hit singles.
Yep. Oh, my God. The guy only struck out 13 times on the whole season. He can't play here. We're looking for more.
Yeah. Crazy stuff. Hey, great stuff as always, Donnie. And me and Donnie kick it every Sunday afternoon at noon to get you ready for NFL kickoff. And then we break it down at the half. And I'm going to tell you, Donnie, you and I, our halftime picks have been fucking great so far this year, man, on a weekly basis. Through 2 weeks in, we're killing it at the half.
Yeah, no, it's a lot of fun to do the show. If you guys haven't tuned in there, again, it's 12-1. We come on, we'll break down the entire card. Any questions that you have, we'll give our likes, leans, best plays. Then we come on at the half, do the same thing again. Jeff and I come on to prep you for the night game on Sunday night, and then Gabe and Jeff take over right through the football game. We got it all covered here at SBR, Gabe.
All right, Donnie right side. It's always a pleasure, Donnie. Great stuff as always. Don't forget to check out Donnie tomorrow at 12:30 in the afternoon with Big Man on Campus.
Absolutely. Thanks, man. Have a good night now, Gabe.
All right, there's Donnie right side. It's great stuff with Donnie. And, of course, I look in the chat here, and I told you I'm not in the mood to be booting people and busting the machine gun out, so I'm not going to kick Zach Kenkel out. But, hey, Zach, go fuck yourself. You're a fucking stupid moron. You want picks. You want to hear about bets, not this skinny kid. What the fuck did we just talk about, you stupid fucking piece of shit, for the last fucking hour and a half? Donnie Rightside has been on. What's your fucking name? You know what I said I wasn't going to snap? Now I am. Donnie Rightside's been on since 10:15, Zach fucking Kunkel. You know what? What the fuck do you think we just talked about? Britney Spears and Katy Perry? You know what? You know what? We're going to make this easy for you, Zach. We're going to make this easy for you. You want to hear about betting. So let's bet right now on how long it takes me to fucking kick your fucking sorry, pathetic fucking ass out of this chat. What's the bets, guys? 60 seconds? How long? How long is this? How long is this going to take? So you want to hear about betting? I guess us talking about NFL for the last fucking hour and 24 minutes consecutively straight isn't talking enough about betting enough for this fuckface named Zach. But we're not going to boot him. Hopefully he just leaves on his own. You want to hear about betting, Zach? Here's a bet. I bet that you're a fucking loser. There's a bet for you. How's that? You want to bet. He wants to hear about betting. I don't know. I bet you don't have a girlfriend. I bet you're a fucking bitter, fucking stupid cocksucker. How's that for betting talk? And I bet you probably won't tune into my show ever again. And I bet that I don't give a fuck. Yeah, how's that for betting talk? Take a quick break. Come back, get you caught up to date with the baseball.
So sick and tired of waiting. I don't have the time or the If I bleed tonight, if I am sad tonight, I don't have a job to find. And if I work tonight, if I'm so tired tonight, I'll fall asleep when I'm home, when I'm home.
All right, level 2 continues. The Twisted Tuesday. I said at the start of the show, I'm not in the mood for fucking trollers or to get upset tonight. I can't help myself, though. I can't help myself. Zach's crying now. I guess he won't go to the next IFBC. So what's your deal, Zach? You want to take pot shots at me, but you don't like if I take a pot shot back at you. See, this is free, you know, so you're not paying for this or anything. You don't have any rights. You know, it's not like you've been wronged as a customer or something like that. I love that, though. He's crying now. Oh, I'm not going to go to the next IFBC if I'm treated like this. So you want to sit in the chat. You want to sit in the chat and take shots at me, but you don't like if I answer back. You just called me a stupid skinny kid and said you don't want to hear me talk. But that's not taking a shot. Did I misunderstand something, Zach? No, Zach doesn't have to leave. I don't care if he leaves. I told you, I'm not kicking anybody out. If he doesn't like me, that's fine. He didn't say anything offensive, but I didn't say anything offensive either. It goes both ways. If you want to take a shot, it's all good. I didn't kick anyone out. I just scroll back up in the chat and I see you say, I apologize for the comment, but it was uncalled for. So as I stated, you don't have to leave, Zach. I'm not kicking you out. But don't come in here and say, oh, you want to hear about betting talk. We just talked about betting talk for an hour and a half straight. He apologized if I can't accept it. I've accepted. It sounds like you're the one crying. I'm not crying. I'm not the one. I'm not going to go to the next IFBC. I don't want to come across like a nut job dictator here, you know? So exactly, Zach. So you showed up 10 minutes ago and decided to take a shot right away. So you show up 10 minutes ago and just say, right out of the gate without knowing what we're talking about. Holy fuck, I got 32 thumbs down now. That's a lot of thumbs down. 34. I think I'm accumulating to people that have... All right, it's all good, Zach, all right? I got no problem. It's all good. I've told people before, I'm like Donald Trump, all right? I'm like Donald Trump. If you don't say anything to me and you don't fucking whatever, I'm cool. I'm cool. And as I say, the thumbs down on the foot. That's a lot. All right, give us some thumbs up, guys, to balance this shit. We're at 45-35 now. There's a dedicated troll. I know it's impossible that there's 35 people that hate this show. It can't be. It can't be. But it's all good, Zach, all right? I apologize for calling you a fucking loser. I don't know you, so I don't know. I don't know. As I stated, I just looked up in the chat and I see you bitching. I see you bitching. I don't know if I have better hair than no, that's not true, Funny Bones. All right, he does have a girlfriend. All right. I don't have a girlfriend. I had one, but she left because I spent too much time yelling at people like you. All right, let's just move on now. I know William got it. All right, so it's 2-1 for the Cleveland Indians right now. Feel weird talking about baseball. Donnie Rightside in the house. This is scary that Donnie's watching from bed. I enjoyed the conversation with Donnie. All right, so let's get some baseball scores. All right, we'll do this for Zach. All right, Zach wants sports talk. Even though, I don't know, I thought that talking about, that's the thing that bothered me. There's not a lot of shows that just broke down 16 NFL football games. It's never enough. That's the whole thing with the public. I've got to realize this. So you guys got to understand. I'm sorry. I will apologize in the sense that, I've been an AM talk radio show host. I've been on Sirius XM radio. I've been on TV. And when I've been on the internet, I was either subscription or it was my own real thing. I'm not used to dealing with trolls. I got to be honest with you. I'm used to getting ripped on YouTube. I get ripped on YouTube every fucking day, but I'm not used to dealing with live trolls during my show. And, I've got to take a step back. Because even me last night after the show, I was like, man, these fucking people, I can't let these people get me so upset. All right, so we gave you 4 baseball plays tonight. We gave this earlier in the day on the Fantasy Sports Network. Plus, I can't lie. I actually do enjoy, I don't mind the trolls. I have fun with the machine gun and stuff, but I don't want to turn this into a, it seems like in the last week or so, this show has pretty much been 2 hours of strong sports talk for the first 2 hours. And then we sort of veer into whatever I want. This is sort of bonus time. The show's only supposed to be 2 hours, right? I like the way we're going with this format. We're getting a lot of positive feedback. We got word last night from the boys in Costa Rica. So our boy Hamburg. Our boys that do the digital stuff. Buddy, I've been doing this for 3 weeks now in SPR. I haven't got that much feedback from anybody all that much, but that's the way this industry is. Zach's told me he's enjoyed the show a couple of times, etc. But it's funny. Like the last 2 nights, or last few shows have been very hostile. Me and Big Man on Campus were throwing people out here on Sunday. Last night was hostile, and I'm getting all these messages. Oh, great shows the last 2 nights. Very entertaining. I like the D-backs tonight, but I didn't want to lay minus 185 when it was all said and done. The number went up, and it scared me. I am on the Mariners, and I got to tell you, the Mariners always screw me, man. The Mariners always screw me. I got a small piece of the Mariners. I got a piece of the Indians. I didn't understand the line in this Indians game. We were on the Milwaukee Brewers winner, and boom, we hit the Boston Red Sox winner. Unbelievable. We won 2 games, 1-0. The Boston Red Sox win 1-0. And last night I gave the Red Sox on the TV show, and I thought they lost. I got to be honest, I didn't know the final score. Like the Red Sox were losing like 6-1 or something yesterday, 5 or 6-1. And then the football game started, and I forgot about the Red Sox bet. And I didn't even know with my account. I had so many fucking bets on the Giants game. I'm betting on fucking for my buddy. And so I didn't even tell. I couldn't tell. I never looked at settled bets with the baseball. So I just assumed. It's funny. When I went to bed last night, I was like, fucking baseball, fucking lost the Red Sox game. And I didn't even know. I never looked. So today, I'm doing my plays of the day. And I said on the video, I'm like, yeah, sorry about the Red Sox guys last night. I said, fucking Fister. I said, but we're going to go back to the well with the Red Sox tonight. We're going to go back to the well with the Red Sox tonight. And some dude on YouTube, he's like, hey, the Red Sox won last night. And so somebody at the Fantasy Sports Network told me after. I don't think these kids listen when I talk on my show. But they did this time because they're like, hey, you said the Red Sox, and they won. I'm like, oh, good. Good. No, Taif Taka is getting home now. He wants all right, Taifi Taka, you're all right, Taifi. All right, but you're all right, Taifi, but you're going to have to watch the replay of the show. The first hour and a half, Taifi, we broke down every NFL game in its entirety. But I'll tell you right now, this is for Zach and Taifi. These guys, you know what this show is like? It's like people, you ever seen like a sex chat shit? It's always the dudes. Like dudes are always like telling the chick, show us your tits, fuck. Shove something up your ass. It's like, well, I'm sure she'll do that if you go into a private fucking chat with her, but it happens. Like, that's the internet. Talk about this. Do this. But I will say, we went through every NFL game, and all the games that I like, there's a pattern this week in the National Football League. They're all, like, almost too obvious. And I'll tell you right now, and normally on Tuesday night, I never have my plays locked in like this. But I like all these bets that I have. I like the Baltimore Ravens. I like the Atlanta Falcons. The Ravens isn't my top bet. The Falcons is. So, the Falcons laying 3 against the Lions. The Detroit lot. To me, this game is like Clemson and Louisville. The Detroit Lions are good. The Atlanta Falcons are good. They have identical records. One of them is on another level than the other one. And it's the same thing. It's the same point spread. So it's a good comparison. Let's say Detroit or Louisville and Atlanta or Clemson. Atlanta were in the Super Bowl last year. Detroit got bounced in the playoffs last year in the first game. Atlanta have like, what, 7 or 8 Pro Bowlers on their team. What did Detroit have? The Detroit Lions historically, I don't know how many fucking times they've won 3 straight games in their lives. Honestly. I'd like to know that stat. Like, how many times have the Detroit Lions won 3 straight games? Not often. You know, they went on that little run when Jim Bob Cooter took over. I think they went 5-1 a couple of years ago. I rode them too. I'm not a Detroit Lion hater. I'm a Michigan fan, so I got a soft spot in my heart for the Lions. And I have a soft spot in my heart for the Lions because I'm a Bills fan and we're cousins. Bills and Lions, we're related. We're buddies. We're cousins. You know, it is what it is. Look, so much so that when our stadium was all fucking snowed out and shit, where did we play? Detroit. Ralph Wilson's from Detroit. He lived in Detroit. Like the Bills and the Lions have always voted together and shit. Like the Fords and the Wilsons. Like, you know, there's a bond between them. And you speak to any Lion fan, and they'll tell you the same thing. They'll say, "Oh yeah, no, I cheer for the Bills." And any Bill fan, I know a million Bill fans. All right. Bill fans always pull for the Lions in the NFC. That's like their NFC team, the Lions. I know the Lions well. I was on the Lions last night. The Lions are not going to win this football game. Matt Stafford is 5-46 in his career against teams with a winning record. So in other words, not just Matt Stafford's 5-46 against teams with a winning record. The Detroit Lions, since Matt Stafford's been there, they are 5-46 against teams with a winning record. Now, as I stated earlier, the Arizona Cardinals in week 1 were 0-0. They didn't have a winning record. The New York Giants last night were 0-1. They didn't have a winning record. This is the first team with a winning record this year that Matt Stafford and the Detroit Lions are playing, and I'll take my chances. And I don't buy in that there's a letdown. Not to mention it's a short week. And what happened to the last team that just played on Monday Night Football? Both teams that played, the Chargers. The Chargers played on Monday Night Football and then traveled home on a short week and played and lost. The Detroit Lions now played on Monday Night Football, travel home on a short week. Very similar situations. Now, the Atlanta Falcons played on Sunday Night Football, and it was a big game against the Green Bay Packers. So Donnie Rightside brought up a point earlier and stating, it could be somewhat of a letdown for the Atlanta Falcons. And I countered with, I don't believe the Falcons really have a letdown in them. I think that, we saw this actually on Sunday night against the Packers, and Big Man on Campus, it was a great point that he raised. Like you notice, it's 3-1 Indians now. You notice the Falcons never went into a prevent defense against the Packers the other day. It's almost like that 28-3 meltdown in the Super Bowl is going to haunt them, and they're never going to blow another lead again type of deal. We saw the Detroit Lions last night. When the Lions got up, they started fucking around, running the ball. You notice the Falcons, when they got up, they didn't stop fucking around. Like they fucking went for it. Every time they got the ball, it was like, let's score, let's score, let's score. And in the Falcons' mind, I don't think they're trying to be dicks and run the score up, but they blew a 28-3 lead in the Super Bowl, and I think they had this never-again mentality. They have a never-again mentality. So I don't believe it's a letdown. I think the Falcons are on a mission. I really believe this. I think the Falcons are going to win the Super Bowl. I was wrong. I said the Falcons are Seattle before the year started. I did a video. I literally gave the Falcons and Seattle. I said Seattle are 9-1. The Falcons are 14-1. And it looks like I was off about Seattle. But Atlanta's the real deal. They're going to get home field advantage again. And they're only going to get better as the season goes with Steve Sarkisian as the offensive coordinator getting more accustomed to the players. There's been no drop-off, though. All that bullshit about Kyle Shanahan leaving going to affect them was a pile of crap. Steve Sarkisian's fine. And, it's Matt Ryan. It's the players. It's funny. Me and Donnie were talking. The total was an even 50. It's already up to 50.5. I'm surprised. It's probably going to close at 51.5, 52. The thing with this football game, you look at the Atlanta Falcons. I don't think the Falcons are ever going to be in a letdown situation. I really do believe they want to go 16-0. I'm not saying they will, but I think the Falcons are going in with a killer mentality on a weekly basis now. And the fact that the Detroit Lions are 2-0 gets the Atlanta Falcons' attention. It can't be a letdown. The Falcons want home field advantage in the playoffs. So it's not a letdown. They're 2-0. They're playing a 2-0 team. If the Lions were even 1-1 even, maybe, the Falcons wouldn't, have this as circled. But I believe that, the Falcons are all too aware that the Detroit Lions are a good team. But the Lions aren't as good as the Falcons are. The Lions came back against the Arizona Cardinals. I'll tell you right now, if David Johnson doesn't get hurt in that game, if David Johnson doesn't get hurt in that game, Arizona probably wins, and they don't blow the lead. We saw the New York Giants are fucking inept. The Giants are terrible, right? So, Detroit shut them down, but so did Dallas in week 1. This is going to be a tough task for Detroit's secondary, who's suspect. This will be the first time they're truthfully tested by a team. Not to mention the Atlanta Falcons. They're not generally known as being a road warrior team, but I think the Falcons are in a good situation here. The Falcons are a dome team playing in a dome. It's not an extraordinarily long trip for them from Atlanta to Detroit. Hey, what's up, Sam Wheel? Yeah, you know what? I thought Seattle were in a good spot. And, I even said at the time, I picked Seattle to win the Super Bowl because I even said, I don't even think Seattle are the best team in the league. But Seattle have like the easiest schedule in the NFL. So I basically stated, they're probably going to get a home field advantage because they'll win a ton of games in a regular season. And then they're going to put themselves in a situation where they only have to win 2 games to get to the Super Bowl. And it's hard to win up there in the playoffs in the rain and shit. But Seattle look like they have real problems. The only thing is, though, look at the division that Seattle are in. The Arizona Cardinals have real problems without David Johnson. All right, they got real problems without David Johnson. So, the Rams aren't winning the division. The 49ers aren't winning the division. So Seattle probably still wins the division, but I don't think they're going to be able to navigate through the playoffs. But one thing with Seattle is Seattle always get better as the year goes on. Seattle flicked that switch in, around November and shit. So I wouldn't panic yet for Seattle, but I'm not liking the Super Bowl thought. And, we talk about this. We said there's been rematches. Look in the NBA. In the NBA, there's been the rematch 3 straight years in a row. Okay? In the NBA, there's been 3 straight years in a row. Rematch. College football. Alabama-Clemson. Alabama-Clemson. Are we going to get a New England Patriot Atlanta Falcons Super Bowl this year? It wouldn't shock me. And this time the Falcons beat them. This time the Falcons beat them. Or we get another Super Bowl rematch from years ago, the Denver Broncos. But are the Denver Broncos really going to the Super Bowl with Trevor Siemian? Maybe the Kansas City Chiefs. I swear, even just any of those teams making the Super Bowl would be cool. Like, how many of you are sick and tired of the Patriots in the Super Bowl? And I don't say this because I'm a Patriot hater. I don't even hate the Patriots, to be honest. I'm a Bills fan. People think I do. I really don't hate the Patriots. I think their fans are kind of dicks. Brady whines a lot, but I'm a Michigan fan, so I don't even hate Brady. I don't hate them as much. But I'm sick of seeing the Super Bowl is just boring all the time. I'm sick of it. It's like New England every fucking year. Give us a fresh matchup. Kansas City Chiefs. Kansas City Chiefs versus the Falcons in a Super Bowl, or, anyway, the Broncos versus the Packers. Just something fresh. But it wouldn't surprise me if it was the Falcons and the Patriots again. Jax J steps up. And what's up, Jax J? All right, somebody asked what I thought the Tampa Bay record was going to be. SoCal. What up, SoCal? I was high on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers last year. And, I still am. I'll be honest with you. I'm not the biggest Dirk Cutter fan. Their head coach. I'm not the biggest Dirk Cutter fan as a head coach in the National Football League. My deal with Tampa is Jameis Winston doesn't really get better. Jameis Winston came into the league. Like, is Jameis Winston that much better now than he was as a rookie? He really isn't. It's very strange. Like, he's one of these guys that Jameis Winston was better than most out of the gate. It was like, wow, this guy's fucking ready to play in the NFL already. And there was a little growing pains. But, like Jameis Winston has pretty much been the same guy, for 3 years. And Tampa Bay in Jameis Winston's rookie year, they couldn't win close games. Tampa Bay in Jameis Winston's second year couldn't win close games. Like, Tampa Bay, haven't changed. You know what I mean? Like, they haven't climbed that ladder. They haven't climbed that they haven't climbed that ladder yet. They've got so much talent. And, it's I'm not going to say it's now or never for them because it's only Winston's third year. And it's a very similar situation with Mariota. It's like, okay, you guys are good. Yeah, okay, you're good. You're not busts. You know what? You're not Manziel. You're not a bust. You're not busts. But you got to do better than 8-8 or 9-7. You guys are the number 1 and the number 2 picks in the NFL draft. You got to do better. Like, now's the time. They're both in year 3. They're always going to be connected. And they're very similar. They both came into the league. They were both very good out of the gate. And neither of them have gotten any better. And I don't blame all the Tampa Bay Buccaneer close losses last year on Jameis Winston. As I stated, I'm not a big Dirk Cutter fan. But we'll give credit where credit's due. They handled their business against the Chicago Bears. It's funny. I'm like, we didn't talk about the Tampa Bay Buccaneer game tonight because the game's off the board for the record. That's why. That's the one game we didn't talk about. My bad that I didn't mention why we didn't talk about that earlier. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Minnesota Vikings off the board right now due to the quarterback situation of the Minnesota Vikings. And Case Keenum's fucking brutal. If Case Keenum's the quarterback, I think Tampa Bay can beat him. If Sam Bradford's the quarterback, I think Minnesota beats them. Pretty simple. So, yeah, you guys, I was wondering about the NFL. So, yeah, I like the Falcons to beat the Lions. I like the Denver Broncos to beat the Bills, even though it's a similar situation where you've got that little fucking voice saying, man, it could be a dangerous game. The thing is, the way I see it, and I'm a lifelong Bills fan. I've watched every game for the last fucking, 39 years. Started watching Buffalo Bill football when I was 8 years old, right? So, this Bills game is the Bills won't embarrass themselves. They'll battle. Their defense will fucking create turnovers. They'll get in Trevor Siemian's face. Yet, ultimately, in the end, I think Denver will just be too much. I think Buffalo will play their asses off, but I think Denver's just too much. I mean, there's really 3 ways this game goes. Denver goes in there and just beats the shit out of them. And I'm not talking about running up the, I'm not talking about running up the score, beat the shit. I'm talking about Denver goes in there, manhandles the Bills offense, does enough on defense, and wins 21-3 or 21-6 or, 21-14, whatever, in that range. The other one is that it's just a fucking dogfight and it comes down to the end and, Denver might win, but they don't cover. The thing is, Buffalo historically just lose, right? They just do. They just do. I don't know. I think, we're overthinking this one. Buffalo have one of the worst offenses in the National Football League. They're playing one of the best defenses in the National Football League. How are Buffalo going to be able to move the football? And Denver, Buffalo's defense is very good. They are good. I mean, they held Carolina. Carolina didn't score a touchdown on them. You know, like that's something we should bring up. That's another, and so I like Denver in this game, but I'm a Bills fan, and I hate betting against the Bills. But I do bet against them. I'm not like a homer where I don't bet against them. I will. You know, we just mentioned, Carolina didn't score a bloody touchdown this past week. That's why I like the Saints plus the 6. I like the Saints plus the 6 in that game. The other games where I like the Kansas City Chiefs to beat the Chargers. I love the Raiders against the Redskins. I'm going to go big on that one. And me and Donnie Rightside's partner in crime, big man on campus, will be kicking it on the Sunday night betcast. We didn't get 7,000 again, but still pretty damn good. I think we got over 5,000 views or something like that on Sunday. No, but that's the whole thing when people that's the thing. I don't really believe in this letdown stuff so early in the season. Like, why is Denver going to let down? They want to win games. You know what I mean? Why do they want to let down? They want to win games. And another thing is, I know JJ. I'm not going to deny that, JJ. You can call me Ray. You can call me Jay. I'm not going to deny that, Jax J. I'm not going to deny it. They all seem too good and too easy, don't they? It's like, the Raiders -3, the Cowboys -3. I like the Cowboys -3. That could beat Arizona. Denver should beat fucking Buffalo. Atlanta should beat Detroit. Oakland should beat Washington. Like you said, we don't want to overcomplicate things. You know, we're taking a better team against the fucking worst team. David H. Need more talking UP on the show. What's UP? I don't know. What's UP, Dave? Am I overcomplicating the Green Bay game? No. The Cincinnati Bengals have a good defense. But yeah, as far as Buffalo and Denver, I see you guys talking about Talib there. Yeah, exactly. I see you talking about Talib. How the fuck are the Buffalo Bill wide receivers going to get open? You got Jordan Matthews going to have Akeem Talib on him. That's a mismatch. I don't mind Jordan Matthews. I think Jordan Matthews could be okay. It's too bad. You know, Jordan Matthews missed the entire training camp because he got hurt in the first practice with the Bills after he got traded. And Tyrod Taylor missed the camp. So they've never really worked together. I don't mind Jordan Matthews. I think Jordan Matthews is a decent player. And I'm a diehard Bills fan. I don't even mind trading Sammy Watkins. Like, I don't mind Matthews. But the thing is, Matthews isn't a legitimate number 1 guy. He's more of a number 2 guy. So you got a number 2 guy in Jordan Matthews fucking against Akeem Talib. That's not going to end well for Matthews. On the other side of the field, you got Chris Harris, who's one of the best fucking cornerbacks in the league as well. And he's going to be on a fucking rookie in Zay Jones that has like 2 catches in 2 games. Zay Jones, I like him, but Zay Jones is, he's not lighting the league on fire after 2 weeks, okay? And the kid's having a hard time getting open. So Tyrod Taylor is going to have to single-handedly win this fucking game for the Bills. And I'm not saying he can't do it. Tyrod Taylor's good at home. He runs around. He makes plays. But I don't see how the Bills guys are going to be fucking getting open, man. As far as Pittsburgh, I don't trust them. I don't trust them. I'm not sure. I don't think Pittsburgh's so great. But the Bears are crap, right? You know, that's the whole thing. And I can't believe I'm the one saying this because I'm known for betting too many games. But you know, we don't have to bet every game. Like I'm telling you right now, I will have no action on the pitch. I'll tell you right now the games I will not bet on. I'm scrolling shit. Pretty much all of them. You know what? The Bears and the Steelers, like the one game I don't want to touch. Like honestly, like this is my rapid fire right here through each one. San Francisco, Thursday Night Football, San Francisco and LA. I think I'm going to take the 49ers. I'm not betting huge, but I'll take the 49ers. Ravens and Jags, Sunday morning from London. I'm not betting massive, but I'm going to take the Baltimore Ravens. I do like the Atlanta Falcons in the over. I'm taking the Indianapolis Colts. I took the Colts this past Sunday, and it covered for me. I'm going to go back to the well with the Colts again. There's no way in hell the Cleveland Browns should be road favorites against fucking anybody. Give me the Colts. I like the Buffalo Bills plus the points. The Texans and the Patriots game, I'll probably pass on. I want to take the Texans, but yeah. The Dolphins and the Jets, I want to take the Jets plus the 6, but I'm not rich. You know, I can't be throwing money. I can't be throwing money away just on, you know, on gut hunches. Ooh, that the Jets are going to hang tough. The Saints and the Panthers, I do like. I'm going to be betting on the Saints and the Panthers game. I'm taking the Saints. I think the Panthers are good. I think their defense is good. I think their offense is terrible. I think Cam Newton's probably playing at about 50% right now. The Carolina Panther offensive line has big problems. And I know the Saints don't have a great pass rush or anything, but Carolina is very pedestrian, like on the offensive line. Like Cam Newton gets hit. Like Buffalo hit him like 13 times last week. Carolina could not score a touchdown despite the fact that they had the fucking ball. What was the time of possession? Buffalo, and in the first half, Carolina had the ball for 23 and a half minutes. I know that. It was 23 and a half to 6.5. In the second half, it was 15-15. Yeah, the Bills ended up having the ball for like 37 minutes in the end. In the second half, they did a better job of keeping the ball, but Carolina cannot sustain drives. Like, you know, you watch Carolina's offense, and it's kind of clunky play. You know, like Cam Newton, third and fucking or 2nd and 10 or whatever. He'll hit Benjamin for 16. But systematically, they don't really move the ball down the field. Cam Newton's nowhere near to 100% right now. And the Saints are a desperate team. It's a division rival. And I also brought up the scores, man. The last 4 times these two teams have played, 3 of the games were 3-point games, and the other game was a 5-point game. 4 games decided by a margin of 14 points. Give me the Saints plus the points. Yeah, I bet teasers, Jax J. I try not to go too crazy with teasers. I got fucked on a teaser last night with the Giant game. I had it to the over 36, and they ended at 34. I'm not anti-teaser. Don't play teasers in college, though. The other game is the Chiefs and the Chargers, although I'm a little worried about this one. I can see the Chiefs winning by 3. That's the thing with the Chargers. The Chargers are going to be in close games. You know, that's another thing. Talking about teasers, guys, Chargers teasers are free fucking money, man. Chargers teasers are free money. Like, take the Chargers plus 10. Like, that's the spot you want the Chargers in, not as a favorite. But that's the spot you want the Chargers in. And the Raiders. The Redskins aren't beating the Raiders. I'd be shocked, fuck. I really like the Raiders. I'm not betting massive units this year. I don't want to get out of control and shit. I want to, you know, Lord Gambler seems to treat me better when I stay within my means. I've realized that. Like if I bet $250, $300 on a game, I'll win. There's some weird deal though. Anytime, like I'm like, oh fuck, I'm betting I'm betting 250 a game or betting 300 a game all day in the NFL, and then I'm like, all right, you know what? I really like this game. Fuck, I'm gonna put 1,200 on it. I go all in, it loses, and I don't know if it's psychological or what it is, but it happens all the fucking time to me, man. Happens all the time. Fuck. I have these great days, and I'm like, man, I'm killing it. Fuck, let's put 1,500 on this game, and then I lose. And I swear, it's like Lord Gambler and God himself has like told me, all right, this is your life. We know you love to do this. This is your job. So we're going to let you win in the $200 a game range, okay? Don't get greedy. Because if you start, and another thing is I don't bet with a bookie anymore. Last year I was betting with a bookie and shit. I don't bet with a bookie anymore. I don't want to get in there. I don't want to answer the phone. I don't want to deal with these fuckers. You have a bad week, man. Next thing you know, you got these fucking guys texting you all the time. I hate that shit. Last year, I owed a bookie money. I told the guy, listen, and I had a bad little run. I had a good run. I hit the guy pretty good one weekend for like 8K or something, but I kept losing like fucking 2,000, 3,000, 1,400, 3,200. So I'm getting killed with this guy. All right, through like a month run. I lost like $12,000 in a month or something to one guy, and I fucking paid him. So then again, there it is. I owe the guy like 3K or something. I'm getting wiped out. And it's to the point where, like, I didn't want to bet with the guy anymore. I couldn't win with this guy for some reason. And it was weird. I was winning it, like, I was winning online offshore, and I was losing with this bookie all the time. It was bizarro world. So anyways, my mother has cancer, fuck, all right? Fortunately, she beat it, thank God. So my mother had cancer, and she had, like, life-type shit surgery. And my mother lives in Vancouver. So I had to, and I'm in Toronto, so I had to go to Vancouver, for the surgery and stuff. I wanted to be by her side before she went in. So I called the guy, and I left on a Thursday. And I was supposed to meet the bookie guy on Friday. I fucking call the guy on Thursday, and I tell the guy, listen, I said, I have a family emergency. He's like, well, what's going on? And I go, my mother has cancer, and she has surgery, and it doesn't go well, and she's going to die. And I said, I got to go to the airport right now. And I said, and I got to be honest with you, it's costing me like $2,000 to get a last-second ticket and everything. So I'm going to have to pay you next week. Now, let me, this was in January. So we already went through the entire year with the guy and shit. This was in January. The guy won like fucking so much money off of me. So I tell the guy, pretty good excuse, all right? And it wasn't a made-up excuse. So I tell the guy, listen, my mother's fucking, I got to go. I'm going to the airport right now. And I didn't ask him. I told the guy. I said, yeah, I can't meet you tomorrow. I'm going to Vancouver right now, and I'm taking his money that I have, and I'm going to the airport right now. So the guy's like, he's like, oh, yeah, I understand, man. I understand. And he goes, my mother's not doing well either, and she's been in the hospital, but she's older. And so the guy's kind of a normal guy for a few minutes, and he's like, I wish you the best. The next fucking day, I'm in Vancouver. I'm in the hospital. It's like 9 in the morning, 8 in the morning Vancouver time, so 11 or 12 East Coast time. I'm all nervous and shit. My mother's on the gurney. I feel my phone text. I look, it's the bookie. What time are we meeting at? I look, and I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? So then I'm like, I text the guy, and I said, what part of I'm in Vancouver don't you understand? Then the guy goes right into, I need the fucking money, we need to meet. I texted the guy, I'm like, dude, I said, I fucking spoke to you yesterday, and I just told you this. All weekend long, the guy's sending me threatening text messages. And that's, to me, that was the final straw. Where I'm like, why am I betting with this fucking guy? I don't even know the guy. I got hooked up because of a buddy of mine who was betting with him one day. And I was like, yeah, I'll get a bet. And then I got caught in this cycle with this fucking guy. And the thing is, when I would lose like 14 or 1,200 bucks, the text message would start right away. Where's the money? We got to meet. I fucking beat the guy for 3,200. He doesn't answer his phone for 2 days. You know, I beat him for fucking 6,800. Motherfucker gave me an excuse about how he was in a car accident and shit. You know, long story short, the guy was like a psychotic fucking cokehead nut job bookie guy. You know, I had a friend of mine who told me, oh yeah, the guy, he fucking sent me a text message saying he's sending someone to my house right now. He goes, I don't even know the guy money. He goes, I responded to him and he responded back, oh, sorry, wrong number I sent it to. Yeah, I don't want to deal with this fucking bullshit. That's the thing. You bet with a bookie. You never know when they're going to get busted. You never know. Another thing is when you lose, they're fucking on you, right? And I'm on TV and shit. So, like, they know that. So, like, they don't want to get me in because they know I'm not going to run anywhere and shit. So, but when I lose, like, they're fucking on me. You know, but when you win from a bookie, then suddenly, well, I never collected from this other guy. That's what this guy was always telling me before. I'm just waiting to collect from another guy. That's not my problem. In the same way that you're texting me when I'm in my fucking, hospital room with my fucking mother getting cancer surgery. You know what? Fuck bookies. Seriously. And another thing is, too, when you bet with a bookie, you bet fucking 7 or 8 times more. It's like a credit card. I spoke to a bookie about this, and he told me definitively. He goes, yeah, people bet 7 times more when they bet on credit than they would at a window. No, I'm not saying that every bookie's a bad guy. You know, there's some good bookies out there. I've had a lot of bookies over the years. There's some good guys out there. But generally, there's more negatives than positives than betting with a bookie. You're better off betting online. At least it's your money. You're betting within your means. And I know, trust me, it's frustrating. You know, look, like the other night on a Green Bay game, I fucking knew that game was going to go over. Fuck. You know, I only had like fucking $800 in the account. I put it all on the game. You know, and I was thinking all night, I'm like, fuck, man, if I had the fucking credit account right now, I'd bet $5,000 on this game. You know, but you got to remember, yeah, you used to do that, and sometimes you'd lose the game. There's no such thing as a sure fucking bet. All right? Yeah, that's why good advice is bet the same amount of units on each game that you bet. There's no such thing as a lock. You might think that a game looks better than another, but ultimately in the end, they're all the fucking same. So you end up betting more than you can fucking afford. You know how many times I'd bet like my whole paycheck and shit? I was like, well, if I lose, I'll just have to sign my check. And I would do it. It would happen. And then, when a bookie becomes personal, you start to dislike the guy. And then it starts to cloud your picks. You start chasing shit. You're betting way more money than you want to be betting, or maybe you could afford to bet. And then the worst part of it is you lose the games on a Sunday. It sucks. It's rough. And we know what I'm talking about. You lose the bets on Sunday. It sucks. Sunday night, you got to watch the highlights everywhere. It's like, fuck, man. It's like, yeah, I know the Bills lost and didn't cover. Like, it gets tiresome. Morning and then Monday Night Football. Oh, the fastest 2 minutes in sports, and you got to relive it again. It's like, holy fuck, man. It's torturous when you lose. You have a bad Sunday because it's everywhere. I remember in the old days, I don't get newspapers anymore. I remember I used to hate the Monday paper. I was like, fuck, man, I got to read about the games I lost. I fucking hate that shit. You know what really sucks about a bookie, too, is you bet with a bookie, you got to pay the following week, the next week after. So you know how many times I'm meeting a guy, and I'm fucking paying him $3,200 and shit. And I'm thinking, fuck, why do I even owe this guy money? And then I realize, oh, yeah, because I lost a fucking stupid game 10 days ago. And then it just carries over. At least when you're betting with your own money, you lose the money, it's over. No guy named fucking Vic, Vito, Guido, or fucking Luigi, Frankie, or anyone else is giving you a call saying, where's the money? You lost the money. You wager's not going to call you and mock you and say, well, you better fucking meet me now. And you know what I'm saying, Andrew G, right? Like when you have a bad Sunday night, like what a difference it makes, huh? If you have a good Sunday and you go like 8-2 and you won fucking $5,000, you love the highlights. You love the highlights. You're like, man, I can watch the highlights all day. Oh yeah, man, I won that game and fuck, that was a great touchdown. Like, I don't want to watch this. Fuck. The other night on Sunday, 2 Sundays ago, when I had a bad Sunday, the second the betcast was over, man, I turned football off. I watched Seinfeld reruns on TV. I was like, I don't want to see any highlights. I don't want to see anything about this Sunday. The football was bad. I know I lost my money. I don't need to relive it. Fuck. That's why, like, I'm a Bills fan. People always ask me, hey, Morency, did you watch that Buffalo Bills documentary on ESPN, the 30 for 30? I'm like, no, I lived it. I don't need to rewatch. I'm aware. We lost 4 Super Bowls in a row. You think I need an ESPN fucking documentary to tell me that? So there's my advice as far as bookies are concerned. Good to see Kyle Johnson in the house here this evening. All right, guys. So listen, we'll take one last quick break. Unbelievable. We got 63 thumbs down now. Now people are just fucking with us. I don't care. Because, you know, like Andrew G said earlier, if you have no thumbs up or thumbs down, then that's bad. Apathy kills. One or the other is good. Love and motherfucking hate. All right, so we'll take our last break of the evening. We'll come back with some closing thoughts on the other side. If you want analysis of all the NFL football games, watch the video when it's reposted on YouTube here. As Donnie Rightside joined us for the first hour and a half of the show, and we ran down every NFL football game.
I was just so far from here, focused on my own way, with never looking back to those who lived in fear. There was nothing I could do, there was nothing you said that could make me realize how much lucky I was. Just out of reach of the fire, was nowhere from the ground. But when I started to see through that begging for help, just need to open my eyes down to try to change them to sunshine, to be someone among other I can try. If I bleed tonight, if I accept tonight, I don't have the time to lie. If I wait tonight, I'm so tired tonight, I'm falling asleep when I'm home. When I'm no way to go, no one can see through that side. No, I can see my life is crap. I have to see them too. I just live into my world, far from the pain, the feel. Just out of reach of fire. Was not where I'm started. When I stop to see those I'm thinking for help, thinking for help. Just need to open my eyes now to try to change up the sunshine, to be someone among other I can try. If I bleed tonight, if I am sad tonight, I don't have the time to cry. If I work tonight, if I'm so tired tonight, I'm falling asleep when I'm home. I was so wrong, I was so blind, I was so dumb and out of time. I was so wrong, I was so blind, I was so blind. bleed tonight, if I am sad tonight, I don't have a job to find. I'm far away tonight, I'm so tired tonight. I'm falling asleep when I'm home. Take a power, take a look at the life that was broke. Wonder how every word that was said was a joke. Overloaded mind, tick-tock, it's time. Is there a reason to blame? Is it because of the shame? Or just the simple fact denial's taking over the brain?
All right. Good night on the Major League Baseball diamond this evening, although I bet minimal units tonight. Definition of recreational plays this evening, just to get a little action in. Cleveland Indians are up 3-1 right now. They're in the eighth innings, excuse me. The eighth inning there. Let's get you caught up to date. 6-2 right now. San Diego's up 6-2. They're in the bottom of the eighth inning. Cleveland's up 3-1, as I just alluded to. They're in the eighth inning, bottom of the eighth. Colorado Rockies and San Francisco are tied right now at 3. And the Texas Rangers have taken a 3-1 lead. I told you, it was 1-1 a couple of minutes ago, and I told you the Mariners always fuck me. I don't know why I bet on these fucking guys. Over the years, if I bet like 200 Mariner games in my life, I must have fucking lost like 160 of them. Even when Ken Griffey fucking played for them, like, I'm telling you, they're a team. I shouldn't touch them. They just shouldn't exist. All right, last week there were a couple of instances at this time of the night is when we dug in the international scene and we nailed it. Fuck, remember last week, man? We went on a 6-0 international run last week. Remember one of those nights, man, we hit the snooker, we hit the fucking soccer, we were hitting this and that, we're hitting all this international crap. Japanese baseball. Tonight, though, there's not a lot of international stuff going on. There's live badminton right now. And even I don't bet on badminton. I'm not saying I never have, but I don't often bet on badminton. There's cricket. I bet on cricket sometimes, but it fucking takes too long. You bet on cricket right now, you ain't going to get a result till like fucking 3 in the afternoon tomorrow or something. It's a pain in the ass. You've got some tennis going on, women's tennis in Seoul right now. And this is one thing, I don't bet this shit. I've done it, and I can't win. It's the ultimate degenerate shit, betting on like stupid tennis you know nothing about, like the ITF woman. Like, you know, they show this shit at some of these sports books, man. There's no one in the stands. It's fucking empty. It looks like there's 2 like Chinese chicks playing in the park, fuck. Except you can bet on the shit. Like, I don't even know what the fuck this is. ITF woman Skymen. I don't know. It's like in fucking Indonesia or something. Like, it's like the qualifiers of like tennis. It's basically like, you know, the 3,000 ranked player in the world shit against, you know, or they're like, you know, they're young kids. Or they're just shit. I've never done well with this bad international tennis stuff. I'm a pretty good tennis bettor, like with real tennis. But this like clusterfuck international shit, like that's just like garbage, I don't know. And listen, I'm a guy that bets on a lot of crap stuff I don't know about, but even I don't touch that. See, Lord Gugu is getting some action in. All right, guys, so we appreciate everybody tuning in here this evening. I don't appreciate the 70 thumbs down. Yet it's just impossible. Now we're just getting trolled, but to be honest with you, I actually like it because it makes me look like a villain, and you know, it's like the give and take. You know, Bill O'Reilly, you know, look at Sean Hannity. Look at Fox News. Even I hate Sean Hannity, but Sean Hannity makes a lot of money. A lot of people hate Sean Hannity. Sean Hannity makes a lot of money. If you're a talk show host, you want people to love you or hate you. There's no in between. Otherwise, you're just another schmuck. Exactly, Big Will. Exactly. It's like wrestling, fuck. Whether they cheer you, whether they boo you, Vince McMahon doesn't care. If they don't do anything for you, then you get fired. Rush Limbaugh's a dickhead, but yeah, he's a rich motherfucker. Andrew G, always a pleasure, my man. Yeah, the Packers are going to beat the Bengals, but be careful laying the 8.5, Packer fan. Lord Gugu, always a pleasure. Tom Marino, Big Will, Mr. Gogster, Ian Cameron, a.k.a. Babano, Jax J, David H. We'll even thank that Zach dude, Taika, Typhy. Perfect rotation. Good to see a perfect rotation. Sam Wheel. And everybody else in the chat that was with us earlier that I don't see. Thanks for the thumbs up. Thanks for the thumbs down. Although, remember, I'm getting that voodoo doll. Getting that voodoo doll. Other than that, you're on your own. Later.